I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes. Not behind you, you will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
They can't tell me. No way. When the time comes, it's okay. What stupid country is this? So when you see you try somebody's secret, when you like, you try secret. When you like, it's in public. What stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try in secret. When you like, you try in private. They are killing my people. 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 After killing my people, you tell me to tell in secret. The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he is mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret prayer. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes.
We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
know the meaning of discovery? It means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun.
Hello, Biafrans. Good afternoon from here. I want to appreciate you guys. As always, thank you for joining the live broadcast today. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and this is Biafra Global Network. Today is a lovely day. We're already in the last day of the week, or so, the weekend anyways. We said the weekend, by tomorrow we're going to have Shabbat, and then that's the end of the weekend. Then we begin another. Today we are going to be discussing critical things that concerns our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I want you to understand today that we are going to be talking extensively on critical things that relates with both you and, of course, relating with you and us collectively as a people, to us as a people. And I want you all to know that we are in critical times, the times when we have to begin to really do things very differently, especially based on the situation we have found ourselves, betrayals from one corner to the other, and lots of evil going on around us. Biafra people have gone through so many terrible situations. Biafra people have gone through so much circumstances, and that we right now have to begin to think straight so that we can get ourselves out of this mess that we have found ourselves. I want to appreciate you wherever you're watching from, all over the nations of the world. I know we have people all over the nations of the world. Thank you so much, Dazion. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Brother Kelechi. Good afternoon to you, man. Thank you for joining, and thank you for others who are watching right now, and for those who are going to be joining us. Please, as you join us, just share on all your social media platforms. Let people begin to join us right now so that we can get the information going around to our people all over the nations of the world, and from there they can disseminate this information to other people who need this information also to know about this information. And today I'm going to be discussing, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have sacrificed himself for the people of Biafra, and before he was extraordinarily renditioned, he told us something critically, I think in the year 2000 also. Yes, in the year 2000, or during that COVID period, he said, "I will not disappoint you." He said this, he has said it several times. He has said it several times that he's not going to disappoint us, but we are going to disappoint him. And over time, we have seen disappointments, we have seen betrayals, we have seen several things going on that can tell that what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said is true. And these are the facts, and these are the truth. And without wasting much time, I'm going to be going live, to discuss with us on these matters. But first, I want you to understand critically, yes, first of all, we have to understand the stages of betrayal and the stages of which many people participate, or some people participated in getting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu where he is. We know that the first stage, at the apex of the chain, is the British. The British government have seen Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as a threat all this while, but because those guys are always very diplomatic, those guys are always very trying to be very, they try to play smart. So what they need to do, as it is their modus, is to look for those who are oppressed to help them carry out their assignment. So Britain, in spite of the fact that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in Britain, they couldn't hold him, they couldn't do anything against him, and they couldn't. Shalom, Kelechi, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for that. Good to have you here joining also. Now, based on the fact that because they are an advanced nation, they are people who reason, and they know that they can't just carry out impunity just like that. They have to be very cunning. They have to use some tactical way of carrying out their impunity and all they need to execute their impunity is to get those in slavery to help them carry out this impunity. For instance, when they came into Biafra land, or came into the area they now call Nigeria in the 90s, in the 19th century, what they did was to use our own people to conquer us. So they create warrant chiefs and all of that. They do all of those stuff. To conquer us, you need the people to conquer themselves. Because they know that extensively coming from the outside, they cannot do it fully because they don't understand the fullness of the details that have to do with these people. So, for instance, talking about Biafra, they are not Biafran citizens, but they need Biafrans to help them conquer Biafrans. And so what they did was to get people, give them the positions of warrant chiefs and all of that. And then these people now be the ones who know the terrain, who know about the people. And they will now use these people to actually, get us to betray ourselves, to kill ourselves, and to do lots of things against ourselves. Now, and the hierarchy of what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going through now, Britain knows that they cannot just do anything to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Even if he's broadcasting from Britain, he's doing lots of things from Britain. They needed some people who would help them do that. And they already know the rules of the principle. They operate as slave masters. They know that to always deal with us, they need our people who will be part of them to help them carry out their dirty jobs. And so what they needed to do is to contract our people. First they contract the people. Our local politicians now are called the warrant chiefs. So when you hear me talk about the warrant chiefs of our days, we are talking about the politicians working for the Fulanis in our midst. So all they needed to do is to contact the warrant chiefs, who are the politicians working for the Fulanis, nowadays. And then those warrant chiefs now would come in the midst of the people, the corrupt people amongst us, and bribe those ones and use those ones now to sell Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So those warrant chiefs, who are the politicians in our midst, penetrated the DOS and members of the DOS, and some who are not in the DOS, but who can be accomplices, to see that they sell Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So Britain could not do that on their own. They needed to consult, they needed to employ their stooges. They needed to employ the slaves, because they are the slave masters, and to show to the world that they actually are not the one, tormenting, or the ones going against the law, international law, rule of law, and all of that, international justice and all of that, human rights and all of that. They didn't want the world to know that, because they want to always position themselves to the world as people who respect democracy, who respect human rights, who respect rule of law and all of that. Britain needed to preserve that and to pretend to preserve that as if they obey rule of law and all of that. So all they needed to do is to, as usual, as their way, as the manner, the way they operate, as their modus, the way they operate, the way they behave, the way they carry out their wicked deeds. All they need to do is to contract the people they are controlling. They need to contract the same people who are their slaves. And then the slaves, the greedy ones amongst the slaves, will now present themselves or project themselves as stooges in the hands of Britain to do the dirty job. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu got to that position where he is right now, and they were able to kidnap him and extraordinarily rendition him to Nigeria after 8 days of torture. They were able to do that because they were able to get people amongst us to do that. Now, over time now, we have suffered this situation. We have suffered so much. Like Madam Adazan says here, my people have suffered. Our people have suffered. How much longer will we suffer? How much can a people take? Lord, it is you we serve. Please intervene and save us. We need you now. Now, this is a prayer from the heavy heart of a mother. And this is the prayer that's always in my heart every day. And I know that genuine Biafrans have this prayer. Because when you look at the whole things we're going through, you begin to wonder how wicked this world is, how terrible this world is, how very, 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 very unbearable this world is. And you begin to wonder how much more can we suffer? How much more can we endure? And how can we suffer this to this level? And yet we still have people in our midst who are helping the British and the Fulanis, the slave masters, to still put us in this situation. Why are we in this situation to this extent where we are our own enemies? We are our own evil. We are our own stooges. People in our midst keep prolonging the suffering because they are thinking of their greedy self. Aloma Best, hello, thank you so much. I don't know if this name is Oguta. Is it Oguntade or something? Whether you are Biafran or so. Canon View Media, thank you. Hi, Kelechi, thank you so much for joining. Thank you. I appreciate you. Now, this is the extent to which we are suffering. Now, somebody said this afternoon when we were having a meeting that, you know, Biafrans have become very, very vulnerable, that all you need to do is just have the feed, and then like the chicken, just throw it here, and all of them will run to that place and they will eat. Then go to another location, throw the feed. They will rush and leave that place they were feeding previously, and then run to the other place. So Biafrans have become like chickens. And I now coined it, and I said that we are now suffering from chicken syndrome. Chicken syndrome, because Biafrans have become, we are now having this mindset of chicken or fish. Just put the bait. They will just go for it. They don't care if the bait is having a hook in it. It's just like when you take a worm and put on a hook and you put it in that place. A fish will go, or the fish will rush there, and one will be caught, and then put that same hook in that same position. Even if the other fish saw the other one being hooked by that hook and taken out of the water, it will still come with its mouth and put on that hook, because our people have been so bastardized in their mindset, based on the fact that over time the Fulanis have actually destroyed the mindset of our people, based on the fact that the British helped them to conquer us. Now we're going to be going strictly into this matter. Now, the first set of people who are in the top hierarchy of putting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu where he is today is the British. They actually used the Fulanis to buy our people so that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be caught or will be kidnapped and then locked up, tortured, and extraordinarily renditioned. Now, Britain did this because they need you and I to be the ones to put ourselves in the trouble we'll always be in. Now, but you know, Britain knows that they cannot sustain this situation of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu without sustaining the grip on the Fulanis, using the Fulanis to sustain the grip on our politicians, and by extension, the average Biafran, whether in the DOS or somewhere else. Now, so what they have to do is this: they have to open this network of business where they have to continue funding this line to make sure that we have a line that keeps Mazi Nnamdi Kanu down. Because they know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the only one who has the courage to sustain the Biafra program. Because if they have been able to buy over or to corrupt those people who work with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, then the only thing that can happen is that they need to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there by continuing funding the line or the chain in which they use in kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So what Britain needs to do is to sustain a business chain of funding and sponsoring that line that helped them kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So the line here is this: the damaging revelation from Anibweze Juliet about Simon shows that the people praising are empty. None of them could intelligently rebuff her facts. The best they can do is emotional abuse. That's all. Thank you so much, Kanu View Media. We're going to get to that point because I will be coming strong on that point. Very, very much. Very, very much. Because you see, the reason why we can't stop talking about Simon, especially with those people whose brain don't understand some basic things, is that Simon has actually positioned himself as the cynosure of the current criminality going on. And most of our people don't understand yet. They have not seen it yet, but with time, they will come to understand. So we don't blame them anyways. And so there's no way you can talk about criminality and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu situation without talking about Simon Ekpa, because Simon Ekpa is actually a direct cynosure, a direct link to that right now as we talk. And there's so many things. As I said, as I made my post 2 days ago, so I said I'm going to start making series of Simon's criminality. I can call him a criminal now, because if he decides to sue me to court, I have evidences against him. But if he keeps calling me a criminal today, or any of us, you know, criminals that are standing for the truth, criminals, we can deal with him when the time comes in courts, because we have evidences against him, and we will want him to prove his case that we're criminals. So let him keep calling us criminals, and let his men continue calling us criminals. Let them keep their evidences, because we're going to get to the place where these evidences will be shown to Biafrans and to the world, so that people will know who is a criminal and who is not a criminal. I was supposed to do a very robust broadcast yesterday, but I couldn't, because Pastor Livingstone Emeka was actually broadcasting, and we needed to be there yesterday. So today also we're going to be having another broadcast by 7 p.m. Biafra time, and that broadcast is going to be a talk show. We are going to be talking extensively. You're going to be hearing from different people on what is going on and the criminality of Simon Ekpa. Simon has gone so beyond and has committed treason against Mazi and Kanu. You know, Simon has committed so many criminality against Mazi and Kanu right now. In fact, right now, his actions are tantamount to treason. In fact, it's not tantamount, it's treason, treasonable felony. Because the same Simon who told us that there is a government already in place, known by Mazi and Kanu, and of course, which he said that Mazi and Kanu already have a government in exile, and Mazi and Kanu already have people operating, and there's a prime minister. Suddenly, he comes to front people that are already known, who are not part of that system he talked about, and fronts himself as the prime minister, which means he has plotted a coup against those people. They were not shown. We never saw them anywhere. We never saw them giving a handover note to Simon as to say that they are now handing over. Now, what we are saying is that he's now putting himself, fronting himself, in this whole thing. And at the same time, what he's also doing is that he is also projecting, those people that were recently, interviewed under the Biafra Yes, I hope I'm coming out now. It seems I had a particular the network stuff just went off and all of that. So I hope I'm coming out now clear, and some of you can hear me. If you can hear me, just let me know. I want to be sure that you guys can hear me and I am coming out clear, please. I want to be sure that I am coming out clear because, okay, keep your image and audio is off. Okay, am I out now, please? Please let me know if I'm out now, if I'm coming out clear, please. Let me know if I'm out now, please. Let me know. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay now. All right. Thank you so much. That was this a very huge distraction out there. The reason, as I was saying, that we will always call Simon criminal because we are ready for him to take us and to prove, and we are ready to prove it anywhere that he's a criminal. So we can always do that. But that's not why we're here today. All right, please. Thank you so much. Now, he talked about Biafra government in exile, which he said he was only coming to activate what Mazi and Kanu already have in ground, which means that team had a complete cabinet running as Mazi and Kanu knew it. And that team we know. Now, if you remember, some other time he came to post some pictures about them. Now, we didn't know that what he was trying to do is he was working on the minds of Biafrans to discredit that government in exile so that he will pave way for his own criminality. That means he wanted to discredit that government in exile so that he could actually present his own government. Now, this is one of the pictures where he said that the criminals and betrayers of Biafra in America gathering their fake government in exile. This is what Sabo Felix Onye say fake Biafra governments look like. Eating and drinking, arranging marriage with a woman in America for his fake president, while Biafrans are being killed. Now, this is the same person who told you that these people are rejoicing and celebrating while Biafrans are being killed. Is the same person who have come to present himself as prime minister and putting so many logos and all of that on people on social media while Biafrans are still being killed. He said those guys were celebrating while Biafrans are being killed. He is now posting himself and fronting himself as prime minister while Biafrans are being killed. So now, what do you say? He's accusing other people of doing some stuff while Biafrans are being killed. And he himself is still doing the same thing right now, while Biafrans are even being killed more. He's fronting himself while Biafrans are being killed. Now, the Biafra government in exile, which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself knows about, we have the details about them. We have the address of their office. We have the video evidence of their office. In fact, Pastor Livingstone and Prince will be going to their office this weekend. We're going to have it displayed to Biafrans live. You're going to see the office. You're going to see the beautiful place. We're going to display it to you to see. Now, this Biafra government in exile, Simon have told you. He told you he's going to give you the address. He never showed you a video evidence. He never showed you anything about it. He just showed you one picture. And then when he showed you that picture, he now told you that this picture is this is the Biafra government in exile. He never even told you that that thing they did here was Photoshop. He never even told you it was Photoshop. Rather, he just presented it to you and said, this is the office. When he now saw people were not castigating him to say that this is Photoshop, he now came up with another excuse and said, yes, we actually did a Photoshopping of something. The flag there is Photoshopped to show you where the flag will be. The coat of arms is Photoshopped to show you where the coat of arms will be. Is that how an organized person behaves? Because in the initial stage, he was trying to present to you as if it is original, as if it is not Photoshopped. He never told you. But when people now began to bust him, he now began to come all out and try to pretend. Now, why are you coming to show us where flag will be? Why not you get the thing full and tell us where the address is? And so that, because you know that when you tell Biafrans that we are going to tell you the address where it is later everybody will forget. Then everybody will move on. Then later you will bring up the issue of Peter Obi. Everybody will just forget. You just wanted to, then suddenly you bring up a letter and you put an address. Now, tell us if the address on the letter is the address of that building so that we can go and verify. Thank you so much, Edith Nedu. Thank you so much, Edith Nedu. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I appreciate you for joining. Always looking forward to seeing you. Good to have you here. You know, tell us the address of whether that address on the letter is the address of that building you showed us. Why would you come to show us a building and Photoshop a flag and a coat of arms on it? Where is the government of exile, government in exile that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu knows? And you also told us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu knows and recognizes that you said you were activating. Are you telling us now that you are the actual person who was on the government in exile? Are you telling us now that the government in exile you were talking about is actually you and Ngozi Rabweze and Azuka? Now, let me tell you people something. A government in exile have been instituted. The same Azuka that has refused to tell Biafrans what their monies have been used for is the same Azuka that is part of in charge of the finances. Now tell us now, let me tell you, those who have conscience, what kind of government are you building in Biafra? That means the purse of the government of Biafra that we're looking for now, nobody will know what is in our account. No, it will be we'll be using somebody's husband's account for government of Biafra. Nobody will know about anything about the account. The account will only be hidden from people. That means the Biafra we are building, the Biafra we're looking for, is a Biafra where nobody will know about the accounts. So if somebody like Azuka is hiding the accounts and Simon is also shielding her because Simon has a stake, they know how they're running an account together and all of that. That means that the government in exile they have built, still putting the same person that is being accused of stealing Biafra money, is the government that would be of secrecy, the government that cannot be investigated, the government that cannot be accountable, the government people cannot ask questions. I told you people that we need auditors to audit the account of Biafra. It's a very simple thing to do. I'm not an accountant, but my father is a professional accountant. He's an external auditor. I can tell him alone. He will let's just tell him to audit this thing, and you will see him come and he will audit the account, and where every Biafran will know how much, every penny, where that money has gone. So that's it. So when you tell us about a government in exile, we have Prince in the studio. Prince is already behind the studio. I think I'm going to bring him in the next 1 minute. You know, I'll just keep my narrative because I know he has lots of things to say based on the fact that he has seen the topic. Because I wanted you guys to understand the hierarchy of how they are controlling this thing and the evil that is going on. First, we have Britain at top. Britain knows they cannot operate and keeping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu where he is. They need the stooges. So they use the Fulanis to contract the warrant chiefs of our time, which are the Fulani and the politicians, and then to contract those people who are Biafrans, the DOS and other people. Now, I'll still give you the line of how the thing comes to the table of Simon as one of those who is prolonging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's predicament. Thank you so much, Prince. I just wanted to give them what I initially said to them so that they could remember. And for those who are just joining, I appreciate you, please. I know you have a lot to say, especially regarding this topic, because I know you have your perspective to this. Please, you're welcome. Say hello to us and just take it up from there, please.
To God be all glory. Chukwokike, our God, our creator, our maker. Yeah. Without God, we have no life and we can't be here to do this work. I want to welcome my fellow Biafrans, and I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you, Kelechi, for insisting on the truth. And because one of the things that these Nigerians don't know is that true Biafrans cannot be fooled. Majority of these Nigerians who actually used to be against Simon Ekpa, when Simon was a true disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, they are now the ones supporting him now, knowing that he has derailed, knowing that he is not going anywhere. They are the ones now coming out to say, oh, you are liars, you people are sabo, you people are criminals, you people are... Because they know Simon had become the real and the most dangerous threat to Nnamdi Kanu's life.
That's right.
People need to understand these things, okay? Biafrans can't be fooled. I've said it. Biafrans listen to people. If they believe that what you're saying resonates with them, if they believe it, they walk with you. But at any point you derail and you go for, Biafrans will know you have left the pathway and they will call you out. And that's where we are. We know that this guy, the demons, not just one demon, but demons had entered this guy. This guy had gone mad. This guy is now walking towards destruction of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and everything on the. That's why he had the oomph. That's why he had the chick. That's why he had this madness of declaring himself a prime minister. Where do you get a prime minister without the people saying so? Where on earth do you have an interim leader without the people saying so? The same mode they were when they tried to allocate currencies to their heads and their faces, and they were cut out. Now they are handing over posts to themselves. This is mediocrity. The thing is, they are putting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at risk. They are now the real propelling agents used by.
That is it. That's what I want us to, Biafrans, to understand. Please elaborate on that. How he is putting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at risk. What he is doing right now, and how they jeopardize Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's chance, and how it's keeping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu further in that place.
People need to wake up to the fact that Nnamdi Kanu is more at risk now than he was, even when they kidnapped him, because of what Simon is doing, okay? And I'm not going to put it past Simon. If there had not been discussions to make sure that he never sees, that Nnamdi Kanu does not see the light of day, okay? Because under normal circumstances, you would know that if Simon believed that Nnamdi Kanu will come out alive, he would never have declared himself a prime minister.
Very well.
He would never have. Aren't you psychologically equipped to see through this? He would never have declared himself a prime minister if in his mind he believed that one day Nnamdi Kanu will walk out free.
That's right.
And you can see how subtly things are changing. He has gradually positioned himself, just like Pastor Livingston reminded us yesterday. Simon Ekpa came to Biafrans and told them that they have a prime minister already. He is going to announce the prime minister sometime. Suddenly, look at the fluke. Look at the scam. Suddenly, the prime minister became Simon Ekpa, just like that. So where is that prime minister he promised us that they had? Look, anyway, I am telling you, and I've warned before, and I'm warning again, that Simon, British agents, Fulani agent, and all the Nigerians holding Nnamdi Kanu, all we are saying to you, ensure nothing happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You just have to ensure nothing happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You just have to ensure that. And I want to remind you all, because Nnamdi Kanu has not said anything that hasn't come through yet. Apart from the physical manifestation of Biafra, every other thing he had said had come through. So I want you people not to forget that he told you all also that Biafra must come. Nothing will stop Biafra. And he said, if you kill me, Biafra will come quicker. So don't forget that. Don't even go there. You better leave that man.
Yes.
Go on.
You remember, there was a time when Simon was trying to discredit the other Biafra government in exile, of which we didn't even know that he was actually trying to discredit that Biafra government in exile for the sake of trying to manipulate the minds of Biafrans to begin to believe. Now, I'll show you a particular picture. Now, here he said this now. He said the criminals and betrayers of Biafra in America gathering their fake government in exile. This is what Sabo Felix Oyinse fake Biafra government look like. Eating and drinking, arranging marriage with a woman in America for his fake president, while Biafrans are being killed. The same way Biafrans are being killed today, he is now declaring himself a prime minister. Pastor,
yes. Before Pastor comes in, if you don't mind,
okay,
please. Yeah, yes. Because I wanted to eat into this thing you have just said now.
Yes.
Do you know that one of the things we have found out is that all the people Simon told you were fake. All the people Simon told you, because if what we saw happening recently, we did not see it, we would not have known that the people Simon wanted to chase into the abyss were the real people.
Yes.
This is one thing we have come out to understand in the end. That this guy is the height of criminality in this whole project, Biafra. And that's why I can declare categorically that when Biafra comes, not if, when Biafra comes, I can promise Biafrans that Simon Ekpa will go down in history as the worst thing, maybe also the best thing that brought about Biafra, because without the activity of Simon Ekpa, you and I wouldn't be here now trying to get to the promised land. Because he is worse from the angle that he's going to come out worse than DOS he criticized, and if Ejiofor put together, Simon will rank worse than them. But Simon will be the best based on the fact that through him, we came to find out that those that he was calling Sabo were the real people. I thank you.
Right. That's right. Thank you so much. Pastor, please take it up from there. Can you imagine that narrative?
Thank you. Please, in fact,
he's saying they are rejoicing and Biafrans are suffering. Biafrans are being killed. Now he's making himself this, and they have been bombarding, killing our people. He's saying that he's making himself a prime minister in the midst of all of this. Please take it up from there, please.
Yes, we will even go a little bit further behind, because this whole thing is a cook-up, a carefully crafted plan. I agree with you, Prince, because if you say fortunately or unfortunately, we were sold into this idea, we bought it. But along the line, God began to reveal things for us to understand. So what we are doing now is we are finding Simon out, that his original intentions were not for the good of Biafra or Nnamdi Kanu from the onset. He had an agenda. He wanted to capitalize on Nnamdi Kanu's absence to take over the Biafran project himself and do something and be the real, in quote, savior of the Biafran people. In quote. Now, for now, have you noticed that Woto is no longer being mentioned? Have you ever asked yourself questions? Has our men on ground, have they ever had any encounter with the Nigerian army or anything? All this while money have been contributed. All the Woto you heard, did you ever hear any information on radio that Nigerian army were killed by Biafran soldiers or people like that? All these things were just information that Azuka will tell you, we did so many things to them today. They said it is Simon that does the announcement for Nigeria. Nigeria does not do the announcement about Woto. Just like Simon is doing the announcement for the Biafran Republic government in exile. How he was elected and also appointed. He's the one that is making all the announcements. Others don't make the announcement, and people don't want to look at it. So then I want us to take our mind a little bit. First, he started like this, because the guy is a very, very crafty guy who calculates very well to carry out his program. Because he saw where Biafra was in need of help. He came that time with his personal agenda. When Nnamdi Kanu was rendition, he started first with, probably I may assume, when he first told Nnamdi Kanu, I am your disciple, when Nnamdi Kanu was still around, free, and then he may have had maybe a good intention that if Nnamdi Kanu comes up, he will support him and then we'll get Biafra. But when Nnamdi Kanu was abducted, that was when Simon saw his chance. Listen to me.
Now, Pastor, sorry, before you go on, yes, you have just pointed it out. Now, you know, this thing all began with the British. They wanted to get him, get at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They know that the only way they can do it is to engage his people.
Yes.
Now they have engaged our people through the Fulanis, and they have been able to get Mazi Nnamdi. And now they are sitting back to watch how it plays because they know our people will sustain this bullshit.
Yes.
Now Simon have seen the opportunity in all of this stuff.
Exactly. He's a master. He's a master strategist in dubious acts. We were trying to make analysis. This is not anything about this was how he analyzed DOS and removed them from office. He made Biafrans see reason. And we are coming now to show something. You see, I don't know whether it was Prince or you that was telling me the other day that when Lucifer was considered evil, it was not when he started acting, it was when he conceived it in his mind.
Yeah,
remember?
Yes, I said
the conception came in before the action.
The intention, yeah.
Yes.
And that is biblical, where it says, until the day iniquity was found in your heart. The day iniquity was found in Lucifer. Not the day he carried out the war against the angels of God in heaven. No, it was the day he conceived it.
Yes.
And it took him time to talk to angels after the conception, and 1/3 of the angels were able to follow him. That is what you see in the Biafran struggle now. Simon had this conception. So at the very day when that Biafran issue came up, when Nnamdi Kanu was rendition, this was the opportunity Simon was looking for. So he came up, and the sentiments of the Biafrans then were concerning Onyendu. And since DOS could not do what they were supposed to do, Simon was approached. Come and take over this thing. And then he needed assurance from Azuka. And Azuka told him, this thing I'm telling you is fact. It's what Azuka told me herself. That Simon said he wasn't ready. And they told him, no, you will. We are going to help you out. Come out strong and stand. Don't be afraid. Because at the early stage, he was a little bit skeptical. He was foot dragging. Now, when that happened, Simon came in and saw that the Biafrans were totally committed to him like they were with Nnamdi Kanu. They transferred all that allegiance.
That is if it is not just an alibi to make you feel that they actually brought Simon. So just Simon is genuine. He actually didn't want to do it, but they had to bring him in and make him do it. And they are the ones who gave him just to cover her own track, because it's possible that Simon actually had because from the body language of Simon from the beginning, you will know that he actually wants that position.
No, I'm just trying to be fair. I'm just trying to be fair to him, that while Nnamdi Kanu was alive, there are possibilities that he stood out as his disciple and had hoped that Nnamdi Kanu would take this thing to its logical conclusion, and then as an exceptional disciple, he would reach Biafra with him. But when Nnamdi Kanu was abducted, Simon started having ideas. How? The very day, the allegiance, the confidence, just like all the respect the children of Israel had where Moses was transferred to Joshua. But Joshua didn't have ideas. So the whole confidence the Biafrans had were transferred to Simon. He saw their commitment, their zeal, and all of us who were around him talking. So Simon began to have ideas. So what he decided now to do was he started building his own personal structures that will project him in the minds of Biafran as the savior who will carry out the vision of Nnamdi Kanu into its logical conclusion. And Biafrans were ready to back up, having seen how DOS has failed. So one of the first strategies he used was to show how wicked, how inept the DOS administration was. He showed it to Biafrans, and Biafrans saw. And most of DOS administration were misbehaving. They had their killer squad. So by the time Simon Ekpa finished analyzing them, it was evident China Samworu and Chike Doziem, they were going down the drain. And he gave them time. By the 28th of February, it was concluded. No more. He stopped that. Now, at that point, even those who were against IPOB autopilot, having heard the exposition of Simon Ekpa, a lot of them left DOS and began to join us. And then we had a press that was a broadcast team that was vibrant. Then you had Nelly, you had Simon Sobon, and others who were. Have you ever wondered, Biafra Unite no longer links up with them? Have you ever thought of that? He's operating on his own. Now, I'm not putting words into Biafra Unite's mouth. I have my respect for him. But I'm just out of curiosity. I'm trying to, why is it that he doesn't identify with this movement? Do you understand me? So when that thing happened, I'm just trying to take the history back, because Biafrans should try to understand. Now, when DOS was effectively removed, Simon Ekpa had effectively placed himself on the platform as the next person that Biafrans will hope that will bring Onyendu out and give us Biafra. And his comments were, we are going to make the detention of Onyendu more expensive for Nigeria than his release. That was a catchy phrase. It was very powerful. And he began to do it with this sit at home. So the sit at home, which we all supported, began to crumble Nigeria's economy. Because anytime you sit at home, those in the north can't come to the east to sell anything. Those in the south can't come to the east. Everywhere is grounded. And Simon became an international figure. And then Nigerians began to become restive, the government. So the next plan was, how do we get to Simon so that this threat will stop? Because if you can understand, so far, Nigeria no longer feel threatened by Simon. They just look at him and keep quiet. Now, I want to take it chronologically. Now, when he has removed the DOS and the sit at home started, Simon became like a kind of generalissimo, the Are Onaka Kanfo of Biafra land. He stood his ground. And when he gives a command, people will obey. Because they believed that he stood for Nnamdi Kanu's release, having criticized US of not doing the right thing they were supposed to do when their principal was being abducted. They did not ask after him. He had a strong point, and we stood by him. Now, when that began to progress, as we were moving, Simon began to build base. He entered within the ESN and realized that some of them were with DOS, and some who ran away were looking for where to perch. He gathered those people and began to form his own team. And that effectively showed that DOS were not very good in handling ESN. So the ESN that was being formed now, the way it can be handled effectively, that's why when you talked about Azuka, I didn't want to argue you. Azuka had her own agenda. Azuka was coming up now to control the resources of ESN. Having captured the minds of Biafrans to be willing to spend money, all of us were making contributions financially. So Azuka now stood in to begin to cut out certain ESN as what they call it? What did they call Samuel Doe?
Rebel.
Master Sergeant. Master Sergeant.
Okay.
Master Sergeant. Commander General Doe. Now, her business was to carve out certain ESN people that are loyal to her. If you don't buy her idea, she will starve you of fund and declare you to be a criminal. Now, those ESN members, under hardship, no food, no money, risk of their life, in a bid by which they can survive, they decided to go rogue and do things that were contrary. At that point, we now had negative ESN members, and then we have, in quote, but not true, positive ESN members who were under the command and control of Simon Ekpa and Azuka. Now, then we had the ESN members who were with Chinasanworu, so the camp was now divided into 3 sections. Those that Chinasanworu controlled, and Chinasanworu within his ESN.
I'll be listening while driving. I'll be listening while driving, so but I'll be off camera.
Within Chinasanworu's ESN, he brought the dead man squad, which Nelly Ofebu spoke vehemently against. Now, so we had within the ESN controlled by Chinasanworu, we had ESN, we had dead man squad. Then we had the ESN that fell out from Chinasanworu, but were starved of funds from IPOB autopilot. Those ones too went through. So Simon began to build his club within this ESN that was totally in control of, with Azuka financing it. And those were those ESN members which, if you are not loyal to Azuka, you'll be starved of funds. And they were bound under circumstances to obey. One of the persons that refused to be put under that pressure as to obey was Shadow and Caterpillar. But others went. So in the process of Simon expanding his base, he now brought in Butuso, whom he had earlier on condemned under Chinasanworu and having killed some of our people. So Butuso came in now to be part of Simon's new militia. And then if you watch very well, once we go to raise for the name of ESN, the money is not being used for ESN. ESN people are starved. The ones that they use the money for are those who Azuka considers to be loyal to her as a madam. Do you understand? That's how Simon was building his clout and Azuka was coming up. Now, as this one progressed, Sit at Home was progressing. Simon was expanding base. Then he began to realize that this project is not the way Nnamdi Kanu thought of it. He wasn't going to go Nnamdi Kanu's route because he was no longer not fully in control of ESN. There were problems that came from DOS. There were problems that came from Chinasanworu. So Simon Ekpa looked at it and said, okay, if I'm going to carry on this project successfully, I need money. And the monies that were coming in was not enough for him to carry out his personal agenda. Because apart from financing the ESN that believe in him, he had his own program to expand his base, solidify himself in the media platform, social media, whereby he'll have members that look like a cult that follow him. So he was so much interested in investing in that area where he will come out and be the principal figure and keep talking and talking and talking. And now gradually, the minds of Biafrans were shifting from Nnamdi Kanu to Simon Ekpa as the person that will save Nnamdi Kanu and save Biafra. Because Biafrans begin to have it into their mind. They didn't want to ask, how will you do it? They just believed that Simon Ekpa, with some kind of mysterious stories behind him, that he may have emanated from somewhere or reincarnated, and he has certain powers. He will tell you his name, he answered in Joko, he answered this, and Biafrans were carried away by it. And he began to build that mythical personality that was larger than life, that was megalomania kind of personality, which was a kind of alpha male that Biafrans couldn't comprehend. They just saw him like a savior that would just, how he planned his things, how he does things. It was concluded that he knows all things, he understands all things, and he can do all things. So he didn't have to call men and deal with them on ground, say, let us plan, let's do this. So Biafrans now had all this confidence in Simon Ekpa and the state. Now his next plan was this. As he was building his platform, he became the person that was in focus. He began to do certain things that are appealing to Biafrans. You see him dance and drink wine, and then do physical exercises, those things that appeal to women, to young men, those little things. She was playing a game, a mind game onto Biafrans, and he was really getting them. So it came to an extent where, having fully established himself now, but all the promises he made, that was the snag, were failing. Every promise Simon Ekpa was making failed. And they began to see loopholes in all his measures, in all his threats, that none came to existence. The fullness of that thing came when the 150 days was given. At the approach, because Simon Ekpa had told Biafrans, I know the day Biafra will be liberated. He said, I'm telling you, I know it. So they saw him as a kind of mystical and mythical figure that had a comprehensive knowledge of what others don't have. So they were kind of referencing him like a god, a spiritual person, somebody that operated from somewhere, even in a dimension different and bigger than that of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So what happened? He gave 150 days and said, we shall get Biafra in 150 days. And as they were going, Simon Ekpa did not have men on ground because he never had one. He was starving ESM people of funds, those that he controlled. He never had one. Every money that was gotten to buy ammunition, you get 20,000, 10,000, everything. None were bought. If you can understand, Kelechi, as of when a discussion was going on in that meeting between him, Butuzo, Holy Ghost, and Shadow, he told Shadow, take the RPG and the GMG or whatever and send to Butuzo and Holy Ghost. You can imagine a whole camp don't have even 10 ammo for themselves to protect themselves and fight. It's that they go and borrow from this camp and give to this camp. This camp has to wait until we have to say it because we have to expose him. That's why I expose TOS.
Before you continue there, do you know that stuff, that same ammo we're talking about here, which he wanted to buy, and that meeting was held about, I think it was in January, you know, I was wondering, 1 month to the election, this guy is just talking about buying, you know, this this helicopter, you know, stuff. I mean, buying this RPG or so, or for bringing down helicopters and all of that, all this stuff. I was wondering, it was just 1 month to the election. He was now telling everybody that if he had one of that, it would be good for him. And then that's when on the advisory board, then we were now asking, I think some of them asked him and said, okay, we need to buy this. And he said, yes. And okay, ask him, how many do we need to buy? He said, 1. I was shocked because we're talking about bringing down helicopters of the enemies, and you need real rocket launchers, to do all of this job. And yet somebody's talking about somebody who is knowledgeable about military warfare and all of that. He's talking about 1. It was Oge, who is not even a military person, that was telling him, we can buy, at least we need 3, 4, or 5. They
exactly.
now decided to contribute money to buy, I don't know whether it's 4 or 5 they said they're going to buy, I can't remember now. But now we are hearing that he is now sharing 1.
Exactly.
So
that's the absurdity.
Yes, where is the money for the remaining that was given to him? Please
exactly. That's a good question. And number 2,
yes.
Why buy 1 sounds so absurd for a military man?
Yes.
It's because if he's anticipating they are going to attack Olu, and that is where he stationed that 1, and they decide to go and attack Hamufu, what will happen? You don't know, will not know what happened at Hamufu. So you may have more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That is it.
Station at different strategic places, as hoping that they will come, because to equip a military like that, you must make sure that you have equipment in case you anticipate where the enemy is going to come. They cannot come from only one side. An invasion of a territory is not intended to be done through one route or one direction. Normally, it takes different directions so that you can take the enemy and weaken them. So if he had only 1 and he was hoping at Olu, and the enemy is attacking from a Hamufu or is attacking from Umaya, how will Olu people know what is happening? You see, that is the shallowness of his military knowledge. We are making analysis now. Now, even Oge himself was able to tell him that no, 1 is not enough. We need about 3 or 4. And that was a better idea from Oge to Simon, to show you that Simon is shallow. Oge shouldn't be the person to tell him that if truly Simon has a good military background.
Of course.
That's not. Now for him to say that, Shadow, take this thing you have, give to Butuzo for another assignment, it means that the armed forces don't have equipment.
That's right.
If they borrow, they take from this unit and give to this unit. And while this unit is going to act, this one remains dormant. If there is an attack from the enemy, they're just there like chickens. They mold out them with bullets and they kill all of them. So you see, that was wrong. That was why Shadow told Simon, I'm not going to release that thing. And they argued over it. Now, it was the same Shadow that Simon said he didn't know, but he removed him from office. Now, when that 150 days was approaching, Simon had a gamble because he said he knew when we will get Biafra. He was gambling on something. Now, he believed that since election was coming, and you have done that analysis, that at the end of the election, anyhow you look at it, is going to bring about chaos and confusion. Maybe 10 days after the election. Then we can capitalize on that and cause problem, and people will go their different ways. He will not tell you, I told you I know when Nigeria will come. Sorry, when Biafra will come. That was why that comment he made on the protest, he said, like we have always done, and this is the opportunity we use. Now that the country is in chaos, let us go and do it. The only thing that saved him was his boys didn't go out. Maybe DOS went ahead of him and they mowed them down with bullets. But for commenting it and saying it to hearing, it is there in the social, it is an evidence. It is an evidence. Just a minute, please.
Yes, please. Now we're trying to analyze.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Please.
I'm coming. Evidence. It is an evidence from what happened that Simon Ekpa intended to capitalize on the chaos, the breakdown of law and order, to bring about Biafra through protest, because he had hoped that the Duduwas will go and then Biafra will come. He said, no one will get Biafra. But that one did not work. So after that 150 days, it couldn't, and Nigerian government were tensed up. Remember, they went and brought the Burundians to come and fight for them. They had loads and loads of people into Biafran territory, hoping that Simon had something to offer. Now, when they realized that 4 days even to the election, men on ground were complaining that there was nothing. And then Nigerians now saw how hollow Simon Ekpa was. They stopped bothering about him.
That's right.
If you look, it's not bothered about Simon Ekpa, because when Simon Ekpa needed money to execute the war, Nigerian government now sent in an agent in the person of Ngozi Orakwe. who, when Simon, somebody carved the head of the dragon, those 3 heads, Ngozi bought it, I think, for $3,000 and paid cash. What Simon Ekpa has been looking for, he had gotten it. I understood that he excused himself. Asuka excused herself. They went to the restroom. And that was where they went celebrating that God has given them somebody that give them money. From that time onward, Ngozi, who had been wanting to come into Simon through you or me and failed, got her way into Simon and began to give money. Now, these monies made Simon to change the vision of Nnamdi Kanu into his own. And at that time, they began to advise him to build his own militia. That was why you hear him talk about BNG and stuff like that. Now, Simon Ekpa, who used to say, we had a prime minister of this government in exile, and that one day they will talk, they have their team. Suddenly, those people no longer exist. The next thing you hear is Simon Ekpa. Now, see where the build-up started coming. First, he graduated from being the disciple of Nnamdi Kanu. The man had a plan. The next one entered to the spiritual son. That's the second one. Now, the third one, Simon Ekpa entered into the dragon. And this dragon sign was a symbol Nnamdi Kanu launched. But it was Simon Ekpa now that took the dragon to be himself. So it was like Nnamdi Kanu was prophesying that there is a dragon coming. That I have launched this symbol. There's a dragon coming that is greater, that will do greater things than I've done. And when he comes, is the person you listen to. So Simon took that. That dragon became his symbol and sign. And the name they were calling him. Now, after that dragon, the next thing Simon Ekpa took was interim leader. No, Biafran spokesperson. No, Biafran spokesperson. Now, I've been called Biafran spokesperson. He effectively dislodged DOS from being heard by the Biafrans because they were dead. So the only voice that was speaking, we supported him. I'm telling you the truth. The only voice that was speaking then was Simon Ekpa. And everybody, there was a time I asked him a question. How prepared are we in this thing? He said, we are ready. And when people ask me, I tell them we are ready. But I don't know the level because I didn't want to ask more unless it looks as if you're prying into areas that are too wonderful for you. Again, I asked him on the platform, why is it that you normally come out to say something, we only hear it in the media instead of us having heard from you first? He said, as the spirit leads him, that's how he gives. That he doesn't give his own information, the thing comes to him and he gives it. We said, okay. So after asking a spokesperson for Biafran, then someone graduated into the next one, interim leader. Remember, Chike Doziem was appointed interim leader. And Simon Ekpa criticized him so much that if you have the interest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at heart, you cannot be answering interim leader.
That's right.
That same Simon turned around and took interim leader of Biafra. Yes, and people didn't want to talk. Now, when that one was not enough, the next plan Simon Ekpa now had was being the Prime Minister of Biafra.
Pastor, before you go further, you know that all these names are just to test Biafrans to see their reactions.
Yes, and before, I'm sorry, you just made me remember something.
Yes.
Before he became the interim leader, I'm sorry, after the Biafran spokesperson, there was a rogue video, a rogue voice note that came out.
Yes.
Purported to have been from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, telling Biafrans, protect Simon Ekpa. Don't worry about me. That as long as I have Simon Ekpa, I'm saved.
Yes.
That I'm covered. So that was to take away allegiance from Onyendu to Simon. And in the gullibility of a lot of Biafrans, including the media group, they brought the whole idea. Nobody could question that thing. Simon did not even refute it, and that saying that that information is wrong. He does not believe it came from Onyendu. It was swallowed hook, line, and sinker. That was when the stage was being set. Now, somebody whom we don't know just came out. He said, Onyendu said, protect Simon, do everything to protect him, do this and that, that and this. So everybody sat now. We have heard from Onyendu. Oh, Onyendu has confirmed. This is the man.
Information, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want you to add the fact that he also told us that we are not hearing, we are not taking anything from DOS said by Onyendu.
Yes,
but this one, he accepted that Nnamdi Kanu said. Go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Remember, he said, I'm just re-echoing it. Prince has said it. One of our arguments against DOS and why we will not take instruction from Nnamdi Kanu because he was in detention was because we were not sure that any information coming from there came from him. That's number one. And we did not know his health status. So we're not going to take that. And rightly so, as Simon said it, the impression given rightly was that he had the interest of Biafra at heart. And so when they said some information came from Onyendu that they should respect DOS and listen to them, I condemned that information. I did. I personally condemned that information. And Simon condemned it. But that same word that Simon did not believe came from Onyendu, that the DOS should take control. When some other person came up and now said that Simon Ekpa should be protected, Onyendu said so. Simon grabbed that one and swallowed it and then acted on it. Now, after that time, Simon has now been fully placed.
And Pastor, I would also want to say this, that matter of listen to Simon and don't bother about me can also be sponsored by Simon and Azuka. Also.
Yes, exactly. His agents.
Yes.
How can Onyendu say, listen to Simon and don't bother about me?
Yes.
The man that God called into this program to do for Biafra is Onyendu. If God didn't want him to be alive, he would have killed him since. And Onyendu, all the things he said are still standing, as if he was living ahead of his people. So Simon is to operate based on what, just like I personally supported Simon, like Joshua was working for succeeding Moses. But when I realized something was wrong, I told people, even God who called you into the ministry, when you misbehave, he can remove you. It's a fact. Having revealed himself to you. So when Simon began to say, that voice began to say that you should listen to Simon, don't forget about me. That was the very big red light I got. Very, very terrible red light. But Biafrans were swallowing it. But at that point, having felt the pulse of Biafrans that they bought the idea, Simon now knew that he's squarely positioned to sit on the throne. And the next thing he declared was interim leader. After interim leader, the next thing was he has been elected the prime minister. Now, the funny thing is this. Before you elect a prime minister, information will go even to the IPOB social media platform, the media platform, that they want to elect a prime minister so that they too can vote. Because within the realms of authority, if Simon takes and Azuka takes with Umwada, the next people is the autopilot media. And I keep telling them, they said no, that Umwada are not bigger than them. I've been telling them that you people are the third force here. Now, if Simon, what part of the reasons why I left the auto media was because Simon does not respect the auto media. He takes decisions literally, meetings with other people. He has no regard for their opinion. They are just to follow him like that. And I don't buy that. That was why he had another dimension of media apart from auto media, which they questioned, and I brought it to him. So when that thing happened, he was supposed to meet the IPOB autopilot media and say, we want to elect government. What is your comment concerning it? And then he should have brought it to the fore to Biafrans, because he asked Biafrans to vote against Tina Sanworu and co. And Biafrans were even on their own, raising up different platforms to vote. When it came now for him to be voted into power, Simon did not seek the opinion of Biafrans because they were already following him like a god. He's a god. And so there was a contradiction in his comment. The advisory council made up of how many persons? Those 10 persons that voted Simon into power or appointed him. He said they appointed him. Now, if the advisory council appointed Simon, if I appointed you into office, I have the power to remove you from office because it is by appointment. If it is by vote, then it is a collective thing. Then we can vote as a people to remove you from office. So he said the advisory council appointed him, but Biafrans voted him. And I don't know when the vote took place. So Simon Ekpa at that became the prime minister of Biafra at the appointment of the advisory board. And the advisory board that appointed Simon should have come out on air to tell Biafrans that we now have a new prime minister. Every information you are getting is Simon that is giving information about advisory board vote appointing him. It's Simon that is giving information about World Igbo Union or something that reproved the World Igbo Congress. It's always Simon that is giving the appointment. And an international organization that gave him a peace award. The organization did not come out to speak. Nobody knows them. It is always Simon that is announcing. You announce everything about yourself, like somebody that will also announce his funeral, even though he's dead. Somebody else should come and announce. No, he does the announcing.
Yeah, Pastor,
so,
you know,
Pastor,
sorry, before you go further, you know that whenever there's going to be an award, there's always a screen. You know, there's always this program that is held, and these people are invited, and it is publicized.
Exactly.
Simon came to announce to us that he was given a peace award. We never saw from the organizers.
We never saw from the organizers. None of them made any comment. And the advisory council that appointed him, never, at least they would have brought out a spokesperson to say, with the advisory council, having considered so many things concerning Biafra and Nigeria, and because this is the next level we want to go, we hereby appoint Simon Ekpa to be blah, 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 the prime minister. They never did. It was Simon Ekpa that is always doing the announcement.
Pastor,
and that's Simon Ekpa now.
Pastor, before you go on, we have our strong man here, Nnamdi. He's on his live here.
Okay.
I think I would.
Thank you.
I would want him to say hello.
Yeah. Let me just try and conclude so that he will talk.
Okay.
Now, Simon Ekpa was the same person that came and started appointing them into offices. The same advisory council board are those who are ministers. So this is a game plan they did among themselves. Now, effectively, Simon now made a comment that people should report to a particular camp, which Butuzo is to be the general. This same Butuzo he criticized. Simon is forming his own militia. They are going to take an oath. There was the oath administered by IPOB under Nnamdi Kanu. That one is to be set aside. The new one now is the one that you have a new commander and he's controlling you. Now, by appointing himself prime minister, Onyendu in a government is the prime minister that is the head of government, as you can see Simon doing now. The president is just ceremonial. It's just a rubber stamp. He doesn't have a say. So Onyendu is just sitting there. He doesn't have anything. They're just doing it. Now, you see, if someone had succeeded in putting their faces on the currency, because that was one of the major plans that was punctured, he would have squarely established himself inside the history of Biafra forever with their faces on the currency. That is why they hate you, because you brought that out and we spoke against it. If you had done it, some Biafrans will come out tomorrow and tell Onyendu, well, someone gave us Biafra and you were released from detention. Is that not enough? What is wrong if his face appears in the currency? If Onyendu speaks against it, those Biafrans that support Simon will stand with Simon and go for Biafra to be free and dump Onyendu and tell you the truth. But we punctured it very, very well. And that thing is paying Simon. His plans have failed. So finally, I come to something. Now that he has taken the post of prime minister, Onyendu is like Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was the president of Nigeria, but the person controlling the government was Tafawa Balewa, who was sent by Ahmadu Bello. That exactly is the thing that is playing out. And then in respect to the recent threat he gave the Nigerian government, that if Onyendu is not taken care of by 17th of this month, there are going to be consequences. I pray the government will listen to him. I pray Ngozo Arabweze will tell the government, please go and do this thing. Let this man take treatment.
But you know that this is not the first time he has been given threats to them. He has
I know. Listen, I know. It's for the benefit of, look, when I'm talking, because they know me, that this is the way I'm saying my thing. Because of tomorrow.
Yes.
Everybody knows he has made so many promises and all of them have failed and failed and failed. No one has stood the test of time. Now, this is the last straw. He has given an ultimatum. 17th of this month. If they fail, there's going to be consequences. I pray that it will happen so that, because for the sake of Onyendu's life, he should take treatment. But if it doesn't happen, let me tell you something. That could be a guise which Simon Ekpa is using to eliminate Onyendu. Because Nigerian government now know that Simon cannot bite. He's only making noise. He's just a noisemaker and a gambler, like he gambled with the election thing. So they know that all the things talking about consequences, nothing will happen. The next thing is that he's planning now, because there was a secret information that came to us, that there was a plan to poison Onyendu through his doctor.
Yes. Yes.
There was a plan to poison Onyendu through his doctor.
Yes.
It was given to me. I'm sure it was given to you too.
Sure,
I'm pretty sure about it. I'm other members of this platform. Yes. So what I'm saying is, if anything happens to Onyendu, Simon's comments is placing Onyendu's life in danger. That's how he boasted about what we have. And Nigerian government went and started bombing our people and killing them, and there were no reprisals. No RPMG was used against any helicopter. No plane was shot down, nothing. And when the government sees that you make a lot of noise, they will kill this man, and you can't do anything. And of course, we understand you have agents from the government inside your cabinet who are directing every talk, every movement, every activity you do. I am telling you, my brothers, this is not something personal. If we want to get Biafra, we must wake up and speak the truth. Simon Ekpa has no intention of bringing Onyendu to be the leader of Biafra. If there's going to be Biafra, Simon Ekpa intends to be the guy. He wants Onyendu out of the way.
Pastor, in fact,
he is planting his militia.
Spoken very, very well and so extensively. You know, and
thank you so much.
Now, you see, it has become very imperative that we talk about these things very, very critically. And I thank God that Pastor has expanded it now. And we're going to bring somebody who is, in fact, if you talk about ESN, you're going to talk about the ESN that Simon is trying to cash into now, you know, and reaping where he didn't sow. This person now that is coming up here is one of those who began this process of ESN, and one of those, in fact, he's fundamentally the key persons, you know, the key person who trained ESN. He's also part of the Republic of Biafra government in exile, which Mazi and Kanu recognizes, which Pastor Livingstone has gone to their office. They will be going there this weekend again to prove to Biafrans that there is a government in exile already.
No, next week we'll be going there next week.
Pastor, please, you have to make it this weekend. We want Biafrans to see this thing quickly. Let it be tomorrow or Saturday. You and Prince have to.
No, I have a Prince.
Pastor, we are not going to accept it. We agreed with you that you're going to go there this weekend. You and Prince will go there this weekend. You must go there this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. There's no postponement of this thing. There's no.
Well, my colleagues are here. My Prince is here, and Nnamdi is here, so they will talk.
Yeah,
it's not for me to
expecting you in the office. Biafra government in exile. Please help me. Before we bring Kenneth into Kenneth, let's just because Nnamdi is our guest here now, and of course, strongly.
Hello, officer, my soldier. God bless you. How are you, Nnamdi?
ESN. This is the man you have to understand is behind them. Please, Nnamdi, please, you have the floor now. Just tell Biafrans what they need to know, because we have seen the sabotaging, we have seen what Simon is causing, destroying the men on ground. The men you took time to put together, gave them the ethics, taught them what they need to know, all the works that the Republic of Biafra government in exile did, that Simon has come now to crumble it and to try to think that he was going to go scot-free with all of this nonsense. We have come to correct those stuff. And thank God you are here today to talk to Biafrans. So please take it up from here now, please. Please, Kenneth, please just hold on, please. Please, you know you are a person now. All right, please. All right, please.
Fellow countrymen, women, elders, and children, I don't want to thank you for being here today. We are a people trapped in a fortress of fallen walls. We are all victims. For the funeral piles are eating up the forest at home. We are like the fools who go after rats, mouse or mice that jump out from our houses that is on fire. Instead of finding a way to stop the fire, to put out the fire, we go out about hunting the rat that is jumping, going for games for rats that are jumping off the inferno.
Please, sorry for cutting you there, please, Ronald. I don't know if you can increase the volume for us, because the people not hearing loud. Yeah, they're not hearing. Please increase it.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Am I loud enough?
It's loud. Yes. Yes.
Better now? Okay.
Very well. Very well.
I have to adjust my earpiece. Okay. Yes, what I'm saying is that believe you me, situations, happenings are not pleasing. What is going on about our so-called freedom fighting is terrible. And I am personally, I don't know about you, I am not pleased about the situation at hand. I have been reading what people are writing here, but let me see. Are we the people that hate flatterers? We hate flatterers but we are being flattered the most. You have all these cunning foxes playing a fast one on our senses. We are so blind that we cannot see even in broad daylight. When we are being fooled, permit me to say, all these good for nothing cassava idiots that are living in Europe and overseas don't have nothing doing per se. I don't want to use something that is very confusing. That's why I'm very, very careful when choosing my words. These guys have nothing reasonable doing, nothing reasonable to sustain life in Europe. All of a sudden, out of the blues, they jump out, cashing in on the Biafran epoch, telling us, arrogating to themselves positions that they don't qualify for, telling us they are leaders, they are this, they are that, and they're making you believe, misleading you. That is tantamount to a blind man telling the one that is leading him all day, that's been leading him all day, to, hold the stick, let me lead you. He's been leading you for so long, let me lead you. And now I'm the leader. He's a blind man. Where? The blind, leading the blind. You know the end result.
Very well.
The sum total is they will fall into a ditch. We are Biafrans. We are like the hungry generations. We are looking for the Messiah. So whoever jumps out and says, I am the Messiah, everybody goes towards that direction. But it's one thing you need to understand. Straight is the way that leads to destruction. And narrow is the way that leads to that light. Guess what? When you see a lot of people flocking towards the direction unknown, something is amiss. Now when I say, like what is, I want to go elusive to what was written in the book of the Acts, chapter 19, verse 5. Those of you who believe in the book. Paul, I know. Jesus, I know. But who are you? You all know the scenario that happened there. Bar Elimas, Bar Jesus. Elimas, whatever, Elimas the proconsul or so. Bar Jesus went asking Paul to give him, one of his handkerchiefs that he was using to make miracles. For everything that Paul touched became holy. If you touch it, your sickness, whatever, your ailment, whatever you have will go. The magician, catch the word, the magician wanted to be like Paul, but he was making money out of that. So he said, give me this power that you have. And then the magician went to heal a madman. And the madman was like, the spirit in the madman was asking him, so you too, you are a healer too. Right? Paul I know, Jesus I know, but who are you? Let that sink in. I don't know if that what sense or if it makes sense to you. So my people, you all are heading towards the wrong direction. The place in the military, we don't fire warning shots. Making empty threats, achieving nothing. How many people have died? I mean, being killed. When we say die, it sounds like somebody became sick and died? How many people have been killed by the ignoble regime in the contraption called Nigeria? They kill, they ravage, they pillage, they maim, they victimize at will. Nobody cares. And the rogues amongst us have cast in on that, fleecing us, duping us. But you should ask, the one that is leading you from A to Z, where have they been? What is their history like? What have they been doing? Somebody who sits at one corner of his house every day, talking blah, 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 running his mouth like a kilometer, telling you he's going to cool down the sky. He's going to invent the next nuclear energy to wipe out the universe. What does he do for a living? What does he do? How does he fend for his family? Ever since the inception, he's never done nothing but running mouth on social media. Then the real Biafran struggle becomes audio struggle. And our real enemies are mocking us. They're taunting us. They're making jest of us. And then this, we have lost the support we're supposed to get from our people. They have lost hope in us. You know, these people don't have what it takes to lead us to the promised land. Hence, the in-house rebellion. What we have are groups, splinter groups, kind of militants group here and there. You know, engaging in skirmishes, fighting against one another. You're making a, what do you call it? That financial drive. Talking about ESN. Where is ESN? Where are they? A good leader stays in front of the battle. A good leader must have the three attributes of leadership: the be, the know, and the do. A good leader must have motivation, must have direction, must have purpose. All the people you've been ascribing leaders to, what do they have? How are they going to lead? What mode or model of freedom fighting are we or are they benchmarking? There was Robert Mugabe, who ousted the almighty white power in Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. Do any of these people who have arrogated themselves the positions that are not befitting to them, do they have the qualities of Robert Mugabe? Look at Yoweri Museveni of Uganda. Look at somebody like Patrice Lumumba. Look at Nelson Mandela. Look at Muammar Gaddafi. Look at Charles Taylor or Prince Yomi Johnson. Look at Samora Machel or Mozambique. I can go on and on and on and on and on. We are fighting a different battle. We are not fighting to take over the government of Nigeria.
Correct.
That is totally different. We are fighting not to unseat the government of Nigeria in order to take position to lead Nigeria. No, 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 no. Far from that. We are fighting to liberate our people. We are fighting to find our place originally where we belonged, that has been illegally taken over. We're supposed to be the first. How
are the mighty falling? How did the first become last? Who are our real enemies? They're dancing, they're playing, they're dancing, they're singing songs of pride while we are dancing to the rhythm of shame. And we are not moved. Now we have a leader. What state are you leading? Biafra? Where are you leading from? Take, for instance, the state of Israel was founded in Oslo in 1948 after the pogrom unleashed on them by the West. Hear me again, I said West. Some people are going to say Hitler. There was no place for them in Europe. They were being slaughtered, killed with impunity. No one was speaking for them. They summoned courage and came together in Oslo, said, we're gonna go back home. On the way, there were obstacles. There were debris. They fought through. They fought the high tide. They conquered. The whole world came against them. The Britain, who are our pronounced enemy, outstanding enemy, also opposed the state of Israel. But the Israelis summoned courage, no matter what. All the people who assumed the leadership position that didn't belong to them, they uprooted all of them. That means no matter whatever you do today, you think you have arrived. You've been watched, believe you me. You've been shoving people aside. When they come up with positive mind and positive thoughts on how to push through, you lie to the people. You bamboozle the people. You mislead, you misguide, you fabulate, you fabricate. And you think you remain. You are nothing, man. You are nothing. You are just being watched. Everything, all discrepancies, everything that everyone have done in this struggle that has caused the lives of our able-bodied men and women, our parents, you're going to have to pay. You have something to expiate.
Sure.
In due time. You will have something to expiate. We're not going to leave any stones unturned. We will search all nooks and crannies of the world to fish you out. Time cometh. Now you are rejoicing. You the man. Don't worry. There's going to be a battle between the devil and the archangel Michael. We're going to see who's going to be the winner. But your job is to disrupt the good works of God. Or usurping the place of God, assuming that now you are God, but you are the father of all liars. Your job is to lie to the people. You are the father of all liars, all lies. So people who have knowledge of the light should not dwell in darkness. Remember, I have to make allusion again to the Bible. The good man went and planted a good garden, hoping that he's going to make a good harvest. But enemy was watching like a cunning monkey was watching. In the night when people slept, he went and messed up the garden. Then time comes for harvest. The good man went to harvest his garden. What he saw, he was dismayed. Out of great annoyance, he set the garden on fire and burnt everything. That's what's going to happen. Look, our forefathers, should I say, our uncles, our fathers, our sisters, they fought in the first war, a defensive war. They made a great deal of progress. But look at us. Today we have everything at our disposal. Look at how we are trashing our hands. Being like a captain of a ship, being tossed around on the high sea. Don't have direction, don't have purpose, don't have foresight, don't have initiative. We say we are leader. Running your mouth like a flow meter, like you have diarrhea of the mouth at one corner of your house. That's how you're going to get Biafra. Send this telegraph to the enemy, telling them what you're going to do. Hey, yeah, you're about to this, and you have an RPG, you have an AK-40, and all that. Telling them you have all this. And these people, this Janjaweed, they go to our interior, killing, doing all kinds of things. And then after that, all you do is howling like a lost wolf. Woo! That is it. Where were all those things you said you had? Where are they? You unleash orders and no sit at home. Sit at home. You've been sitting for how long? What have you gotten out of that? Then the sit at home, you don't enforce it on the people, your pronounced enemy. You go to kick over the trays, the ways of akara sellers, my hawkers in the village. You're killing them. That makes you a man. And then you cannot even come in person to face the challenges staring you in the face. You're sending people, you're cashing in on the system because the guys you're sending, telling them to go do there's nothing. I'm going to stop at there. Nothing. That is why. Then you're playing with your intelligence. You surround yourself with, I don't know, how do I call it? Market women. Blabbing, all over. And that is Biafra. Then you assume you made a Biafra money. Then our leader is in the hands of the enemy, our pronounced enemy. They are torturing him day by day, mentally, psychologically, physically, and all that. Then, when our leader is in the hands of our enemies, we are all captured.
Correct.
We are all captured. We are all in the hands of our enemies.
They are busy dancing. They are busy dancing on Facebook. They are busy dancing on Facebook, drinking wine. Look, I'll be dancing with the husband. Nnamdi Kanu is lamenting. They are killing our people. People are dying. They are busy dancing and drinking wine on Facebook. They have raised money for 2 years. Where is the money? No ammunition, no effort. What can they account for? 2 years they have raised money.
When you see people in mathematics, those of you who are good in numbers, in indices, we set like terms together. When you see people having the same vision, the same mindset like you, guess what? You convert them into your enemies. Then you preach to the people, you deceive the people to hate them instead of figuring out. Instead of figuring out who are these people. Come, let us work together. Oh, you have Biafra mind. Come on, we are doing the same thing. You're telling people these are evil, these are criminals. Who are you calling criminals? People you don't know nothing about. People who are honorable, serving foreign government, looking for a way to contribute their quota towards the realizing of our place.
Exactly.
Biafra, and all that. You're telling people these are criminals, and they are stupidly, they are buying your stupidity.
No, my brother, they are not buying. Trust me. The idiots you see here are Nigerians. Okay, these are Nigerians. Yeah, I need you to know these are Nigerians. In fact, majority of them were against Simon when Simon was saying the things that was irritating them. Now they know that Simon is on a path to hell. Yeah, they are now the ones, because these are Nigerians. I need you to know this. So don't worry. Genuine Biafrans are seeing what you're saying. They know. And they also remember, they are all remembering the message of Nnamdi Kanu, that nobody will stop Biafra. if at any point the demon enters you, you will drop by the wayside. The genuine people will take it forward until the truth will reveal Biafra to them. So don't worry about the lunatics you're seeing here. These are Nigerians. It doesn't matter whether they are Biafrans. They are Biafrans with that bad blood of Fulani.
Real bad blood.
Okay, so ignore them. We know these things, but I want to remind you all, please, that look, in the end, like I said, Simon, just like Buhari, would have that good side of them that helped to propel the real people to come and get Biafra. Okay, and he would have that bad and evil side where, when you calculate all the wrongs of DOS that he was accusing them of, and the wrongs of somebody like Ifeanyi Ejiofor that he was accusing them of, when you put them all together, Simon would be worse than them. So don't worry, we can compartmentalize these things to know what is what and where is what. But let it be known, and my biggest worry is that from what Simon is doing, it is clear that there is an evil intention against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and we want to make sure that Biafrans are aware. Should anything happen to Nnamdi Kanu, it won't just be Fulani again. It won't just be all the people that we know. Simon Ekpa is party to it. So I just want Biafrans to know that nobody will be saying what Simon is saying and doing without having an idea or believing that Nnamdi Kanu will not see the light of day. I want you to mark this down that I said it. I said it based on what I know can happen in the human brain. He won't be doing this thing he's doing up to the level of becoming prime minister by himself, declared by his team.
Can you imagine?
Yeah? Without this.
Can you imagine?
But I would hope that I'll have opportunity to narrate something that I actually took from when Pastor Livingston was talking. That is very important to me. But I know that there are other people who haven't yet spoken, so I don't want to dominate the airwave. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, there's a way to finance, to lead military aspects of the struggle. I have not seen none of this. So the money you're contributing is all a miss. You're wasting your energy, your time, your hope, your faith, and your money. Don't give it to me.
Well, Nigeria is funding Simon right now.
Right now.
Ngozi Orabueze. So everybody knows it. Nigeria is funding Simon, okay, big time through Ngozi Orabueze.
Information, please. Information, please. Information, please. Ken Nnachukwu called me personally and said that he had a phone call the other day, and it turned out to be Ngozi Orabueze. And she was talking to him, why are you criticizing Simon in this platform? The IPOB world something. And then he told Ngozi that this same Simon criticized DOS. We supported him. Now he's doing the wrong thing. I'm speaking against him. Why are you angry? Ngozi said she doesn't know anything about DOS. That as far as she's concerned, IPOB is owned by Simon. If you ask for an interview, let him come and declare lying.
Yeah, Ken is actually here. Ken is actually here. And Pastor, Ken is actually here.
Thank you.
I would love him to give us the
clarity. And after that thing, they went and removed him from the platform. And the person that removed Ken from that platform was Pastor Rose Allen.
Yes, this happened just last week.
Yes, a conspiracy against Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra. If you have contributed your money to IPOB under Simon Ekpa autopilot, if you are contributing your money to Azuka, it's on your own. Your money is being used to enrich them. It is not Nnamdi Kanu.
Please, Ken you take it off from there?
Okay, please, before you go on.
Please, before it goes on, I would also like a priest not to forget that he has to make a comment, which he said it comes from what I was saying. So when Ken finishes, would you please allow Prince that opportunity? Let him say to us, please don't forget it. Put it in your mind.
Okay. Now I want to point out one thing.
Yes.
You heard of recent. Somebody foamed at mouth. Supposedly, the head of state of Biafra when there is no state. Somebody is head of state. Where is the house in the United States where they are headquartered? And how can you have headquarters in the United States and you are living elsewhere? You are the leader, you're living elsewhere, but your headquarters is somewhere else.
Yes.
And please,
where is the house? I want to know.
Please,
and if you want Biafra house, I'll take you there. Live.
Please, Mazi Solonadi. Please, Mazi Solonadi, please.
And before
that
you come
is
in,
just.
And before you come in, let me say to Solonadi, please, as we initially agreed, Pastor Emeka and Prince, please, we need you to be in that Republic of Biafra Republic of Biafra Government in Exile house this weekend. Please, we are begging you, because we agreed on that, at least Saturday or Sunday, so that we can have a live publication of this for the people to see what is already on ground. We are coming to see pictures posted by Simon. We want to show them that there's something on ground that Mazi Nnamdi recognizes. And Mazi Nnamdi picture is there. Everything about Mazi Nnamdi is there. He recognized, he went to that place. He came to that place. And Solonadi is one of the chieftains in that place. So, and Solonadi also was critically and part of establishing ESN. So he can give us, and that's why I said Simon is trying to, reap from where he didn't sow. And he's trying to destroy this stuff because he knows he's connected to Mazi Nnamdi and he wants to establish his militia, his organization. Remember the interview he had the other time? The interview is that, who is funding you and your organization? Simon said, Biafrans are funding my organization. That means he has held Biafrans in their lowest ebb. And that stupidity, he has been able to activate their stupidity so that they will keep funding his organization without knowing it. So please, Mazi Ken, please go on, please, from there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kelechi, for giving me the mic. And I greet all of you. I greet our comrade here, Solonadi, on our prince, on the Pastor Livingstone, on the fact news. So I greet all of you. I have two things just to deliberate on. One will be a question, very, very important, that will be directed to our comrade here, Solonadi. But the first place I will go to the issue that Pastor Livingstone just brought in about Ngozi Orabueze calling me on phone. It is just actually two issues, It was, I think it was last week they made a fundraising on the 1,000 men. And during this fundraising, I was always there, So since I found out what is happening and the lane or the path that Simon Ekpa is now playing on, I don't join them in anything they do any longer. So they were writing me, calling me, why am I not joining that very fundraising? So I responded that I didn't have time, I'm at work. I think later they went and take me away from the platform or something like that, I don't know. So, but the issue of Ngozi Orabueze, there was a platform, Biafran autopilot global something. They have taken me out of there. Somebody made a comment where I responded, trying to elaborate on what is going on, what Simon Ekpa is doing, how he's treating the gallant men, how he's trying to sideline Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and stuffs. So we argued it out there. So late in the evening, I got a call. It was a number from the United States. I said, who is calling me? But this time I was busy. Then later in the night, I called back to know who that person is. Then she told me she's Ngozi. I said, who is Ngozi? Do I know you? She said, but I commented in a platform. I said, yes, I commented there. What is the problem? I said, are you Ngozi Orabueze? This is when she answered that, yes, she's Ngozi Orabueze. So she now told me, it's either I'm with them or I'm not with them. And if I'm not with them, I should take myself out of the platform. I said, why should I take myself out? Does she even know how I come into that platform? I didn't put myself there. They brought me in there. So she said, why am I attacking Simon Ekpa? I said, I'm not attacking Simon Ekpa. I'm not, I'm just trying to let the Biafrans know what is going on and where Simon Ekpa is getting it wrong. She said, no, I don't need to do anything against Simon Ekpa because Simon Ekpa is the leader of autopilot IPOB. I said, so where's Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? So I start punching on her, telling her I have never seen a country or a state that a single person is having two ministerial positions, which she had. She told me, why should I be saying things like that? That all she would just want to tell me is I should stop attacking Simon Ekpa. I said, okay. if I'm criticizing Simon Ekpa, but before Simon Ekpa come to the point where he is today, that we also criticize the DOS because they get it wrong. So she said she don't want to know anything about the DOS. She don't know about the DOS. She was not in IPOB when the DOS was existing. I was very, very angry of myself because I was not in the position to record all what we discussed that very day. I was fucking angry. So she said she don't want to know about it. I said, okay, if we could support Simon Ekpa to criticize the DOS when they get it wrong, why can't we now criticize Simon Ekpa as he's getting it wrong now? She said she don't want to listen to anybody that is against Simon Ekpa. She started threatening me that I will find myself to blame, saying different sort of things. But later, I just put up the phone and said, I don't have to waste my time with people like this because she don't even know what she's doing. So this is just the angle of Ngozi Arabueze. So all they are doing is they know something is going on underground. This is why I'm begging this very team. Everything we are doing have to remain underground the way we do it. We only come online to analyze the things, the wrongdoing that they are doing. But whatever we are putting in place, they don't need to know about it until when we implement them. This should be our goal. So to come to the other part I wanted to speak about, that's directed to Nnamdi. My comrade, where were you people when you were overthrown? I don't know if you can give an answer to this, because now we have a prime minister of Biafran Republic of Government in exile, not Republic Government of Biafra in exile. They turned it around. So,
because of your question,
please,
I want to show this
okay.
to Ronald that Simon actually published one time. You know, I think to inform his response. He said they were celebrating why Biafrans were being killed. He said they were forming Biafra government in exile, rejoicing while Biafrans were being killed. Whereas he's also now the prime minister, while Biafrans are being killed. So, Ronald, over to you from there.
Yeah, I'm not finished. My question is not yet finished. That was one part of the question. Where were you and our prime minister before somebody or a group come and overthrow you people?
Yes.
Two is it possible that a group will come and open another office in America, calling it the Biafran government in exile, when one is already existing? This is just the two questions I want you to elaborate on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that question.
Thank you. Anything you're being fed from, I don't know what you're calling him. I don't want to mention his name. Because he's going to make him relevant. Anything you hear from him is a third-party information. I said third party, not second party, third party information. Anything you have ever heard from him. Well, you asked where we were. We were busy putting Biafra in the world map, putting Biafra in the United States Bureau of Census, or Census Bureau database, that if you punch in, now you type, where are you from, original, where you from, like your original background, you type Biafra, it's going to pop up. Like if you said you're from India, India is there, Israel is there, Pakistan is there, Europe is there, then Biafra was missing. Biafra, but now, presently, Biafra is there. That is what we will do.
Sorry, let me cut you here. That means through your effort and the Republic of Biafra government in exile, you can now go and punch and ask if where you are from and you fix Biafra there, we can now see it in the database that Biafra, you are from Biafra. That means through your effort, you have been able to register that you can also see that you are a Biafran. That means it's significant now that you can also do that.
Absolutely. That is what we were doing. We were busy consulting the who is who in the United States government system, the senators, the congressmen, and all that. That's what we were doing. We were busy sending help to IPOB, finding ways to assist in any way, legally, in any way we can, towards the release of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and in any way, doing things,
in the other, on the high level side of it. We're all entreaties sent to the so-called Simon. I don't know who he is, but he knows me. He rebuffed it. He snubbed at it. He refused to be with us, to join together with us. We gave him olive branch. Hey, bros, you said you have military background. So now, come on, let us plan things out on how to assist our people in this. But the way we are going about it is the wrong way. He refused. We called his cronies. He refused. We told him, okay, we're going to come over to Finland and put things straight. He refused. We told him, well, come on over. If we come to Finland, it's going to cost a lot of money. Let's come on over here. We will host you. And then we go to the situation room. Like that picture you showed there, that was a situation room. He called us drunkards. We were there we've been there, we're always there for hours, all through the night, all through the day. And then what he saw there was something like a bottles of water to drink or anything like chips or appetizers, something like that. He used it.
Don't worry, justify yourself. This guy is a crook. He just says anything. I mean, some of us are jealous of whatever. I don't know what we are jealous of, or I don't know, because I don't know.
And so I want Nnamdi to make a reference to that visit to Onyendu when he was in Israel, because you came a long way.
It's a long thing. I don't want to reveal state secret. Okay. When it comes to things about Biafra, we have the state secret. Any of them saying ESN don't know nothing about ESN. They were not there. They cash in on it. You know, just like saying father, father, father. Not calling father, father, that will make you go to heaven, but those who do the will of the Father that go to heaven. And by their fruits, you shall know them. They don't know nothing about Biafra. This guy, you call him Simon Ekpa, he went to, remember, this guy, he discredited Biafran flag. You all know how many people died because of this color. This guy went to where Biafrans were holding a meeting in Finland. He took the Biafran flag and discredited it. That is treasonable. Now, Simon Ekpa went to Hamburg in Germany. I was also in Germany. I used to live in Germany. You need to know that. He went to Hamburg, where Ekpa was to be disgraced. He went there to fight for Ekpa. He could not stand the heat. This is a guy who's a cook. He said he's a cook, but he's afraid of the heat in the kitchen. He couldn't stand the heat. He swapped over, so he is not reliable. That is when he started doing the Biafra thing. And then,
talking about reliability. This was the same guy Nelly Ofebu entered, and he accepted that Nelly put him in whatever. I don't know what he agreed that Nelly put him. The same guy. When you're talking about unreliability, who allowed Ngozi Orabueze and Azoka to enter him to this level of destruction? Please carry on.
Okay, this guy.
Before you carry on, please let me say this. I want to respond to Kevin. Kevin, whenever you come to a broadcast, listen and
block him. We don't need him.
That's a Nigerian. Please take him out.
Either you take him out or you ignore him. Either you take him out or you ignore him.
Nnamdi, you're coming to tell us about Tony Nnamdi. Are you crazy?
Okay.
Your brains are so dull.
Don't worry.
Just do anything. Because you want to discredit what we're doing.
He's distracting us. Either you take him out or you ignore him.
Please go on.
And let's carry on.
Please go on.
So, this guy is of Biafra today. Next is of Idu. Mixing things. It's just like putting Gary and sand together. No, they can mix. Putting oil and water, trying to mix them together, it doesn't work. You are Idu today. You are Nelly. Nelly is you. Before you know it, you flash Nelly's nakedness. That is immoral. That is not that is not what a leader is known for. Engaging in something like that. You know, then next day he's fighting with this. Look at all these people here, all of us here, all other people are all fools, idiots. Only Simon Ekpa is the wise man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Only him is a wise man. Everybody. He did. Okay, now you were saying what we were doing. We tried to bring everybody together. You said Biafra government in exile is like 4. One was headed by one Ude. For 15 years, they were adamant. They were stagnant. We said, okay, Mr. Ude, when I said you heard about ABVET, you heard about AVID, you heard what Igbo Congress and all that. We've been all through this. He said, Ude, you're gonna come over to the United States. You cannot fight the enemy from the enemy's territory. Ude refused that he is the prime minister, that the seat of government will be where the prime minister lives, that Britain or England or United Kingdom is not the enemy of Biafra. So we booted him out.
Please, Nnamdi, I just want to chip something in here now. You said the seat of the government will always be where the government is. So that means I want to, if I get you clear.
Understand me. We said
no, there is something I want to clear with it to the Biafrans that are listening. For them to go ask that very Simon Ekpa, because he said he's now the prime minister. So that means the seat of Biafran government in exile he is talking about today is in Finland. He needs to show us in Finland where he is. This is just what I want to chip in there.
Okay. We said, Ude, you need to move from Britain. For Britain is the architect, is our enemy. You cannot fight the enemy from the enemy's territory.
Correct.
Ude refused blatantly that Britain is not our enemy. Ude said he's not going to move, that the seat of government will be where the prime minister lives. We said it doesn't work like that. The prime minister moved to where the seat of government is. So Ude refused. We called a meeting. Ude refused to attend the meeting.
Sorry, Nnamdi, before you go on, let's for those of people out there who are Nigerians whose brain is blocked. When Buhari was elected, he left Daura and came to Abuja. So you must go to where the seat of government is. The seat of government does not move to your house.
Now, we called a meeting. Ude did not respond to the meeting. So we found Ude guilty of the dereliction of duty. We kicked Ude out. We told Ude to step down. He is not capable of leading Biafra. Ude got angry, jumped, and went to Simon and gave Simon classified information on, but not because he doesn't have access to the main ones. He gave Simon the classified information about Biafra, the state of Biafra, how Biafra will be governed, and all that set of rules and laws and bylaws and all that. Simon went straight on social media and only vomited it, and people were clapping for him. We were watching. We made one. we made one. Tony Wisi said, "Okay, now you're gonna take position." Something happened along the line. He joined the rest. They know me. They know me. They know who. So, and that notwithstanding, we called Simon. Come on, let us be together to push this, to be the prime mover of this struggle. And Simon came on the Zoom meeting. He was not comfortable. He made war against certain women that were present in the meeting. I said, okay, now if you have Madam Azuka and you don't want women in this meeting, Madam Azuka got to go. So when we finish, you can. He said over his dead body, will Madam Azuka leave the meeting? I said, okay, what are we going to do? Simon zoomed off the meeting. That's why he was insulting us, that we are criminals. And look at me, what I've done for where I live. You know, served with government. I was not a criminal, nothing. All of a sudden, because of Biafra, and what I have done for Biafra, what we have done for Biafra, Simon have not done a speck of it. All of a sudden, someone becomes leader and all that. And we do not take leadership. We are service oriented. We don't serve to gain anything. All we want is our people to be free. Simon becomes leader and calls us criminals. Then Simon zoomed off the meeting and all that. That is how it came about, calling us criminals, calling, punishing one when you say and all that, that we are drunkards and all that. My brothers, what was on the table was bottled water and maybe certain things. You know how it is when you stay all night having meet to run a country. Is it a joke? The president of a country, they don't sleep. It's 24-hour business. But the guy don't have that. He tried to sell falsehood to our people, and they're buying into it. But we never said anything. We are watching him. We are watching what is transpiring. When we gotta get Simon, he's gonna have something to explain to us. You know, to call somebody criminal, you don't know what offense that is.
Yes,
my dear brother,
and that's it. He has to explain. He'll be tried.
What did the people you're calling criminals? You're tarnishing their image. You're going on social media, broadcasting their name, telegraphing the zoo, and the zoo are picking our crops. The people that matter in the struggle, they are picking them, killing them. The zoo lack justice. They have all they do is jungle justice. You know,
is the zoo is the killing field for Britain.
Yes,
okay, that's their
and Simon,
and we need to understand it. And that's why they are insisting on holding Nnamdi Kanu there.
Simon is calling our people's name on social media.
That each government has the zoo, Nigeria, as their killing field. And we have to know these things as they are. Now, my brother, Nnamdi, honestly, even trying to justify or try to say we were drinking water or whatever, it's like somebody is believing this child called Simon. Simon is a child, a little child. The analogy I have for Simon is because when you look at Simon and Biafra, Biafra is like a machine gun loaded.
Hold on, please. Please, sir. There's somebody writing stupid things here. My friend, if I get you, I swear to God, I'm going to make you smell your ass. I'm not joking.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Listen, in any way, I'm going to make you frog jump. I'm telling you, you'll be calling, you'll spell Biafra for me.
That's right. Now, Kelechi, please, yes. I would like you, I know you are in control of this platform.
Yes.
So I would like you to get rid of these Fulani infused.
You know that they have to send a message before I can identify them. So as soon as I identify them,
that is fine. So as long as you're weeding them out, that's fine. Because we're talking to the faithful, and we're talking to people who have brains.
Yes.
I mean, you don't expect Fulani blooded person to have the sort of intellectual ability to understand what we are trying to say here. So we don't. They should go into this classroom where they have a chalk and a board, as Mazi and the Kanu used to tell them, for them to bring their chalk and whatever. That's where they should belong. So I want people to know that Simon is like a little child, okay? 5-year-old playing with a machine gun fully loaded, because Simon doesn't understand the Biafra he's talking about or the makeup of Biafra. There was something our pastor said that triggered my memory. And that was when he was actually talking, and suddenly you realize that even pastor didn't have much insight into what Simon was doing. You know, that really shocked me. Why it shocked me was this, because I came through pastor. Because what brought me, you know me, I'm always on, I come and do my live broadcast and I center on humanity. Okay, for me, what is important to me, most importantly, is to decode the evil that we see in those who say, I am Pope, I am Archbishop, I am a Queen, I am a Prime Minister, I am this. I'm trying to pretend to be civilized and righteous. For me, I wanted us to go down to the truth so that we can be sure who we are dealing with. Okay, that's my mission. Okay, and I'm not doing it because I'm a saint. No, I'm saying let us be honest about ourselves and look at humanity for what it is. But along the line, I saw Pastor Livingston analyzing what Simon Ekpa said. What caught me was that he said he was a pastor, but he was criticizing fellow pastors who are shying away from their responsibility of saving the people from Fulani, and they are playing along, collecting tithe and collecting offerings and singing from the same hymn sheet as Fulanis. That really drew me to Pastor Livingston. And I had to send him a message and I said to him, you are one of the two pastors that I recognize in Biafra. And further down the line, Pastor Livingston contacted me. Because it's important we understand these things. Because some people think, oh, these are people working with Simon Ekpa. I listened to Simon Ekpa. I wasn't a huge subscriber of what he was doing. I began to even listen more when he told us that DOS were career criminals and that he had a law firm with partners working for him. And I thought to myself, okay, if that's so, and he gave the analysis, and that is believable. So it's easier to listen to somebody like that who is saying, I'm doing this for Biafra. I'm not a career agitator. That's the sort of Biafran I want to be seeing in people. Now, when I spoke when Father called me, and he was actually trying to co-opt me into helping out with the Constitution. At first, I refused. But later on, I thought, oh, okay, I can see the angle why he wanted me there. And I thank God I came. And I was prepared to just do that piece of work and get on with what I had to do. I had always believed that Biafra would come. God knows how it's going to come. God will definitely bring, so the people that will get Biafra would come. And I wasn't ever thinking that I was good. I had my own plan for Biafra separate. And it was, for me, when Biafra come, I will say, look, this is what I have to offer Biafra. And I don't want Biafrans to pay me for it. And I mean it. That was my plan. I didn't know. So when I say it is actually what we call through divine intervention that I got involved. This was just how it came about. So now, having come and working to get that draft constitution done, my belief was that Simon and Co. In fact, I thought that Pastor Livingston was in the inner caucus of whatever Simon was doing. Someone, pastor will tell you, I never for one day wanted to know Simon or get his number, or I didn't have time for things like that. Now, because it's important we know that looking at Biafrans that are out there, you have to sympathize with them, because coming from the much I know and what people think I knew, you now need to spare a thought for those who didn't go to school, who might think we were dining and whining with Simon on a daily basis without knowing that Simon prepared a little thing for himself inside there, and he will be coming to shout as if he had prepared everywhere is okay. You just think he had army of people walking around him. Okay, so the guy is a total criminal when you talk about criminality, because that's what he did. So do you know, like I said, the only time it became obvious to me that, oh my God, this is a scam. This is serious, because if you are a genuine Biafran, there is something that would happen, and you would know. If you don't mark that thing down, then you are foolish. And Kelechi, I thank God you were there when it happened. Kelechi, you were preview to the broadcast I was making to the Obedience, who used to be IPOBs fighting for Biafra, but suddenly joined Obedience. And I wanted to remind them of what Nnamdi Kanu said about an Igbo person being lured for all these stupid presidential election. So I made that broadcast, okay? After that broadcast, I left it there because it was broadcast plus my written statement on top of it. Now, we were in that meeting deliberating on the Constitution. This was when things began to open up for me, and I knew, oh my God, we are in trouble. We are a mess. Because at this point, I've been led to believe that Azuka was almost the second in command, because she's head of Omada or something like that. But I've never met her. I don't know her. And I don't need to know her. Now, in that meeting we were, because this is for people who think, oh, you all were working for Simon. You were all with him. You were the ones. No, now, because following what Pastor Livingston said, I knew that Pastor Livingston didn't even know much. Okay, so because I was assuming that he knew much. But in the end, I'm finding out that we were in the dark because of the nature of who we are. We don't want to, in fact, I was feeling for somebody like Simon Ekpa and believe that he was so busy. Everybody so we don't want to disturb anybody. Just get on with what you have to do. All we want is the end product. Anyway, in that meeting, my brother, that was where Pastor Livingston suddenly told us that Nnamdi Kanu had spoken from DSS office for the first time. We said, how? And he said to us, Azuka Charles had confirmed it. Azuka has an insider, and she has said that actually came from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and that he has posted the statement of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on his wall because of the excitement that, oh, finally, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has spoken, because now it is the second in command to Simon Ekpa, telling us that this is from him. I quickly, and everybody rushed to Pastor Livingston's Facebook page, only for me to be met by my own writing, things I wrote. When I saw that, I was totally deflected. I was profoundly deflected to a level where I knew that we are dealing with scammers, thieves, pretenders, people who want to pretend as if they know Nnamdi Kanu more than everybody else, who want to believe. In fact, Azuka Charles wanted even Simon to know that she had inner information of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu more than him. That was why Azuka Charles claimed that came from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And of course, when you go through all the implications of that, you would know that we are dealing with scammers. Now, under normal circumstances, if Simon was real, that was the day Azuka Charles would have been sacked. That's right. If Simon was not a scammer too, that was the day. Because don't forget what happened. People rushed. Simon was about to go to air to even say that Nnamdi Kanu has spoken, because Azuka had convinced him to believe that he was going. Everybody rushed to him to say, never say that. That is not true. You will mess up the whole thing.
Prince, you know, I always have this mindset that whenever you see these things, someone is aware. Someone was not being manipulated by Azuka. The two of them know these things. They are working together.
They know what they are doing. They know what they're doing.
So Azuka has to push this narrative.
Yes, Simon was never manipulated by Azuka. They know what they are doing. I'm telling you the truth. Even Ngozo Rabweze, let me tell you, Ngozo Rabweze has entered Simon to the extent that the information she has against him, if she should divulge it, is going to damage him totally.
That you can't mess with these two women. If
he can't.
With the two women,
because this thing it has become personal. The thing with Ngozo Rabweze has gone beyond Biafran struggle to something personal.
Oh yes.
Something that has to do with somebody's integrity and honor.
So much.
And I tried to appeal to him at the early stage. I'm no longer appealing. That no matter how she has damaged you, tell us. We tell Biafrans to forgive you. But it's too late.
No, Simon is gone. Now, Pastor Livingston, I was actually looking at that thing you said when you said you were actually on the outside. You didn't want to crash in or try to know much. And you see, from where I was coming, I was also thinking that you were an insider. You can see how people in Biafra think that we all are insiders. I just want people to begin to see how people thought. But Simon actually was operating on his own with Azoka Charles. Now, I want Biafrans to listen attentively now regarding Ngozi Abueze, because it's important. And because when you are seeing these people who are now minister for this, minister for that, some of them came through. Some of them, Simon got to know them through Pastor Livingston, through this think tank group. Because Azoka never knew Ngozi Abueze. Okay? Simon never knew Ngozi Abueze. No, this is so funny. Now, you see, I want people to know how empty this Simon is, because he will make you think there is something happening somewhere, that he has people doing some big stuff out there. When I collapsed was when I now realized, oh my God, it's only Azoka Charles and these women that this guy is just parading around as if there is something happening somewhere. And suddenly, Ngozi Abueze that came yesterday, desperate for Simon's number, is now part of the team. What's his name? What's the one? Victor. Victor with us. Okay. Now, what of idea? It's now that came through the think tank. It's now one of the G5 members. I mean, that was when I suddenly know, oh my God, is this how Biafrans have been scammed? And then what Simon was doing is simply, once he saw that you have some intellectual ability to dig, to fish out what he is doing, he would come and announce you as a criminal and you're sacked. Okay? He does not want anybody who wants to be analytical, who wants to ask questions, who wants to probe anything. He would cut out. I remember one day during meeting, and Simon told me that somebody was going to contact me. I remember that. But he doesn't know me. I was praying that he didn't, because I was content with this. In fact, I struggled when it comes to being part of this particular constitution drafting committee, because I know how much time it took from me, okay? And I didn't want anybody to present me anything to do with Biafra, and then it's something I'll say, no, I'm not going to do, because of what Biafra meant to me. And honestly, I was praying that he doesn't call me. But I believe, because Ngozi Abueze was in that meeting, and I believe that Simon will not contact anybody Ngozi Abueze knows without asking Ngozi Abueze. And through our deliberations, Ngozi Abueze has already worked out who is who. And I can assure you that it must have been Ngozi Abueze who said to Simon, don't bring that guy in, or he might rock the boat. Okay? Because that call never came. So I want Biafrans to know that they are being scammed big time. And genuine Biafrans understand it. I don't expect Nigerians or those that have been infused by this blood of Fulani that call themselves Biafrans to understand it. I don't expect
Now there's some, I want us to streamline this to how the effect of all of these on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because, you see, I gave this previous analogy that the British, supervised the kidnap and extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And then they know that all they need to do is put back the person they want to deal with, or that person whom we call our leader, into our own hands, and we ourselves are going to destroy him, shred him to pieces. All they need to do is to sit back and fund the whole process through the Fulanese. And that's what is going on now. I want us to point to Biafrans to understand the implication of what Simon is doing, especially because Simon is now basically the one using Biafrans against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu very, very well. We know that Britain is behind this, Fulani is behind this. But now, obviously, Simon becomes the real instrument for this setback and for this dangerous and precarious situation Mazi Nnamdi Kanu found himself now. Now, the situation, as according to Malami or whatever his name is, the situation is obvious that there is no that pressure. Simon has brainwashed the people. Simon has kept the people in a situation where nobody is now thinking of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. And now we hear that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is having a serious health. Now someone came all out, did all the brag, and gave the time limit. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not released today, we're going to do this. And that time comes, the Nigerian government sees that he doesn't do anything. Another time comes again, they see he doesn't do anything. Another time comes again, they see he doesn't do anything. How is he rubbishing and insulting Biafrans and rubbishing, spitting on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's face? I don't know. Maybe I should give this opportunity to Fact News now to give 2 minutes of this analogy, and then we'll take it around. From the Fact News, I've not said anything yet. Fact News, are you there, please? Just say something about this. What you think about this in 2 minutes?
Good evening, Biafrans. Sorry, I was running late. I came late. I was on a road, and the traffic was too much. Good evening, comrades. Our father, Mr. Prince, our brother, our eminent brother, Nnamdi, Pastor Livingstone. Thank you, everybody. Based on your questions, I've been listening, I've been pondering, I've been looking at the comments. Then you find out that Biafran people are actually the architect of their own predicament. The British sending MNK to Biafrans and funding it, it is clear, it is fact, it is in the public domain. Let me give you the evidence. The 2 years our MNK was kidnapped, Simon has been raising money for 2 years, thousands of dollars. And Simon has been given ultimatums from 1 to God knows when. Biafrans, I have one question for you. Have you seen any action based on every order Simon has been given? The answer is no. This is a decoy. He's jeopardizing the safety of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Simon needs to step out so that people that can help MNK can come in. Whereas he is still there giving order. Once he give order, Biafran people will think that something is coming and that something powerful will happen. And thereby he will project fundraising. Watch him, whenever he's coming to that, there's always a fundraising available. Then he will confuse the Biafrans people to donate money. Believe me,
yes, something
if you
said
donate all the money.
Fact News, you said something now. And Simon is giving the Nigeria system 17th of this month to release Mazi, or to allow the doctors or something of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to access him, because he knows that tomorrow is the fundraising. He needs people to really look at him as very serious, and so he needed to do something just to boost the fundraising that is coming up tomorrow.
No. But the fact is that he's always doing this. He's been doing this for past 2 years.
Yes.
Remember, every time fundraising is coming, he comes to give ultimatum to the Nigerian government, and then he has given ultimatum to the Lagos state to release the Igwes. That 3 days is turning to 1 month, and nobody is asking questions. How did we get here? This is heartbroken, because once Simon is, let me tell you something. Simon is a very dangerous species to the life of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
With quote, once he's projecting that he is doing something, Biafrans believes him, Biafrans trust him, like we all do. And then why we discover that all he's actually saying is a decoy, is on a social media. There is no plan on ground. That is why we all say, no, enough is enough. So you cannot continue to deceive the people by making them to realize that you want to do something, thereby collecting their hard-earned money. And then after you come up with another exposition, and that story is gone. This is fraud.
Now, I want to ask
You cannot say, okay.
Sorry, let me call you there because
Go on.
I just want everybody to talk about this because of the time. Now, Serenade, I want to ask you this question, maybe from your own professional angle. You look at it, and then Prince, you look at it from his own professional angle too, and then.
You are not coming out.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Check your microphone. Check your network.
Somebody wrote here, I think it's Ify. She said, dragon that women control. What type of dragon is he?
Yeah, let me round up before Kelechi comes up. You could understand that Simon is actually playing on the intelligence of our people. We have run the fact and we have asked the people to come up with questions. Ask Simon. In fact, all that we are saying here, people should ask Simon to come on his platform to debunk it, to say that we are lying. Bring the evidence, bring it on. We deal on facts. Bring the evidence on. Come and tell our people that we are laying an allegation against you, that all that we are saying is a lie, because you cannot give an ultimatum when nothing is happening. You cannot say, this is deceiving people in order to collect their money. It's like I come to you and I say, hey, I'm going to destroy these people. Just give me 3 days. Give me your money. Give me your money.
And those ultimatum had led to a lot of Biafrans losing their lives because Nigeria might think he is serious, and then they will bring the military to now come and kill people, thinking they don't want to be taken by surprise, so they go and kill. Okay,
that is a security breach.
Actually, this guy, who only heaven knows how many people he has caused their death in Biafra land. Only God would know that. But I think he's going to, whatever he does, account for all these nonsense.
No. He's going to account for it. He can never be free.
No.
Every order he has given to deceive the people who wants.
And you see, sorry, my brother, from what Pastor Livingston was saying here, it really opened my eyes to, oh my God, this guy led people to believe he had something going. I thought Pastor Livingston was in Simon Ekpa's inner caucus. I didn't know Pastor Livingston was working from the outside. People thought I was in the inner caucus of Simon. They didn't know that I didn't even know anything until Azoka.
Can I surprise you? Can I surprise you?
Go on.
Simon did that. We are investigators. Simon did that not to let you people so close to him, because he knows he has no plan on ground. And hence, you people discover that there is no plans on ground. You are going to be prognosing on the finance, asking a lot of questions. So Simon is a very clever criminal. He knows that if he brings you closer to him, if he brings Pastor Livingstone closer to him, these are genuine people who will ask questions. So in order not to allow people to ask questions, he allowed the women to be in him. And then he chased, if you, believe me, if you have something, let me tell you what Simon has done. Simon have chased away gallant, retired military personnel who have something to offer for the release of Mazi and Kanu.
He will.
They all went home thinking that this guy is gonna do something. And now Simon is like a decoy for the British and Nigerian government.
Criminal. Because
he continued to
and you find that
our
anytime you ask him pertinent question, he will tell you, "Don't worry about it.
What you don't know is bigger than you.
What you don't know is bigger than you." And then he would use words like, there was one that he said the other time. He something about being in the spirit.
Yeah,
in the spirit.
He's in the spirit.
That's right.
This guy is a carnal man.
This guy is
very wicked unbeliever.
This guy is
Can I shock you? Can I shock you, Pastor Livingstone?
Yeah.
Mr. Prince. There was a day a man called on Simon program, and that man was crying. That thing touched my heart. And then the way the countenance of Simon gave me an impression that Simon was not doing anything based on what the man said. The man was crying and he said, and I quote, "Please, Simon, do not let us down. Our life depends on this. Please, we want to go home. We want to go home." The man was persistently crying. And then I look at Simon's face. His face was like, can this idiot just get out? Let me just continue scamming these people. And I grabbed a message from his countenance. He never showed me somebody with passion. And then we in the media team were asking questions. Why is nothing happening? Simon will come and say, something is going to happen. There will be no election, this. And then you find out there will be no campaign. And then we in the media team and the Biafra Writers of Conscience, we begin to ask questions. Dean Justice was not happy. He was like, what is really happening? That he's not happy over what is happening in our land. That there is nothing that Simon is doing on ground. We all finished the meeting and we were like, okay, let's hope something is happening. Believe me, he kept everybody far away so that he can manipulate the finance, which he is doing now with Madam Azoka.
It's very obvious.
This is the fact.
Yeah.
Everything is the fact.
I hope we'll have some message of hope before we leave. Because I can
yes, definitely. We cannot be talking without having hope. A message of hope for Biafrans. We cannot just gather like this.
We are almost approaching.
Let me release a little template for you people to deliberate upon. Mr. Kelechi, welcome back.
Thank you.
Sorry for the interruption. We are coming up with a well-structured, sophisticated layout, transparent. This one, nobody is in charge.
Incredible.
Everything runs itself. It is based on the experience we have with the DOS and now with Simon that we decided to set up this template so that everything works on its own for Biafra to be restored. This template is number one, is top notch. Once we are coming up with this launching very soon. Once it is launched, the world will see that we are not here to ask you to give us money. Just go there and drop your $10 and then go home and watch the action. Simon has no action. We will bring the action.
When we say you know that program will be launched. When it is launched, people will know what they have to do and their responsibility to all of this costs. So I think we just have to let the people know that yes, this is coming up and all of that. But
we cannot allow our people to be defeated.
Yes,
we cannot let MNK down.
Yes, I want us to round up this by this, because I want us to round up this because it's taking a long time and we're already 2 hours and almost 3 hours. Now I want to ask this question as you know, for us to be able to round off with this. As you answer the question, you actually give us your closing remark along the line, you know, and all of that. So I wanted to ask that particular question based on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because it is, according to the information we had yesterday, he's critically ill. And this information, before this information came, we already had an intel that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they were planning to poison him and to get rid of him. And all these times we keep seeing the narrative where until the last narrative that Simon used his agent to bring, where he's trying to make us understand that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is saying that he is no more important, that Simon is more important than him now.
A kind of farewell message. A kind of farewell
message, you know. And then he gives us a farewell message. Please just take care of, just like when Jesus was saying to his mother, John, behold your mother, mother, behold your son. Go and take care of yourself.
Exactly.
My time is up. So don't we think, Sorona, I want you to come look at this critically. Don't you think that all this shenanigans and all this manipulation, and then now coming to tell us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is sick, they are trying to check how we're going to react to these things. Either Simon's camp, Nigeria camp, looking at how do these people value this man. Let's see how they are going to react to this. And then we carry out what we want to carry out and do what we have to do. I want us to reason along this line, please.
Okay. What is there is this. those people, I don't know what you call them, autopilot or stick shift pilot, manual pilot, I don't know. They have lost faith. They have given up our leader, Nnamdi Kanu. They don't have faith in him. They believe absolutely that he's not gonna make it out. Hence, they assumed they have gotten the mind of the, should I call them rebelmen? You know, rebelmen, the peasants, Biafran peasants who are following them. You know, the same way Nigerians at large follow their political leaders who have robbed them blind, denied them the essence of living. They still held them like Jagabad. And that this guy is the one who put them down. There's no lights, no road, no running water, no electricity, nothing for them, no jobs. Then they still held him. If you go out there and you tell them this guy is a crook, is a criminal, is a drug peddler, a convicted drug peddler, they're gonna stone you. They're gonna use somebody like MC Oluomo to come after you and call you Mama Chinedu or Mama Chinedu.
Before you go on, please let me address this one name that has no meaning here. You said Simon is fake and know nothing. Then why did you want Simon to be part of you? Now let me ask you a question too. Simon says we are criminals and all of that. Why did he accept us to work with him initially? And then when we now begin to expose his criminality, he now begin to call us criminals. So that's your answer. I have given you an answer. So please
Thank
go
you.
on.
That guy is an idiot. He's a lunatic, according to Prince. He's a lunatic.
Don't mind him. He doesn't know what he's doing. He should call him here and face real real-time questions.
Yeah.
And then bring forth his ideas that he have. You're here playing the attack dog for Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa cannot stand any heat. I told you. He's afraid of the kitchen. That's why he's running. He's afraid of the heat from the kitchen. That's why he's running. He doesn't want to be found in the kitchen. Okay? So what is there is this. People are following Simon Ekpa sheepishly. They don't have faith in the struggle. Now they have waited until the tempo has dried up or died down, and they're cashing in on it. Like somebody said here, once something happens, then he will claim responsibility for it, and then he will, raise the doors for fundraising. And then after the fundraising, what happens? He tells somebody to ship one RPG to somewhere, and then that he give them 100,000, and they will be hailing him. He's and this and that. And then all of a sudden it becomes, how dare you say you are the Prime Minister of Biafra? Do you know what it is? Then who becomes the president? And then there's not even a local government area that is a stronghold for Biafra. So whose Prime Minister are you? Just look at Boko Haram. They have some Bisa forest. You can't dare cross in there. In Biafra land, where you are the Prime Minister, you don't have even a village where you reign supreme. And then you are the Prime Minister of living from exile. Who exiled you? You don't understand nothing. You don't understand anything. Because you had people say exile, government in exile, you copied. Copycat. You copied. You don't even know how to go about it. That's a terrible thing to do. So Simon Ekpa has no faith in the Biafrans, doesn't know anything about. Show me one place where Simon Ekpa attended a rally or he had a rally or protest for the Biafran struggle. I need to see that. Other than all the history of him opposing the Biafran struggle. What is that? Where did he start from? Look, if he has something to offer that is good, we follow him. I told him, I counseled him, hey, a leader, you can be an idiot, but you still be a leader. You have wise men around you, they guide you through.
Exactly.
As simple as that. We did all this. This guy ran away because we will pose questions to him. We will vet him.
He doesn't
what
want
do you
that.
have? What do you have? What makes you think you can lead?
I want to also chip in this. If you remember one time, Dr. Damages was doing a particular, questioning. He had a team questioning Simon. Now, if you observe Simon critically, you will understand that there he was. He actually, he was high. he was on high on alcohol or something. I don't know what he was high on. Anyways, second, there was one man from the Oduduwa nation that was asking him questions. And because he knew, I don't know, people were not studying that thing critically, you know. I just didn't want to talk about that because he knew that guy was going to ask him critical questions. Where we have one HO was asking him about, have you provided food for the people that are coming to talk about sit at home? You know, that man wanted to ask him a critical question. Do you know what he did? Quickly, he started saying, where are you from? How long have you been in America? The man said, I'm in America. I know. How long have you been in America? The man said, why do you care to know? It's not about, that's not the issue. He was insisting, and then he just moved away. He said, no, he wants somebody else to talk. You know what he was trying to do there? He was trying to get the man not to ask him a critical question. And if you observe,
avoiding his responsibilities.
Yes, the excuse he now used was that the man was not speaking like a Yoruba man. I don't understand that.
Okay. What has the language you're speaking?
I don't understand
the content of the information.
So
every day he be praising Sunday Igboho, he salutes Sunday Igboho, he does this and that. What is his legal? He said he's a lawyer. He lied to people saying he's a lawyer. What
like a Nigerian? How?
Legal contributions toward our leaders' issues.
Exactly.
Nothing.
We don't have a lawyer.
Militarily, does he carry himself like a military fellow? He's not. He doesn't have that. And he's lying to the people. And some, I don't know, some misguided people agree with him or follow him, believe him. He's none of that.
Okay. Are we drawing to a close? Should I submit?
Yes, please do. Please do. Just take it like that. Once you are able to enter, you just take it there. Yeah.
Yes, please. I want to appeal to all my comrades here, all my fellow Biafrans watching from near and far. I want you to know that we are home already. We had to go through this process. Remember, Wazirike started this when it was the end for him. Nnamdi Kanu went forth with it. Nnamdi Kanu went as far as he could. Trust me, he had to be kidnapped for us to know what was happening in DOS. And for even people like Simon to become somebody that everybody got to even look at, let alone listen to. And Simon had to come to do all these things he was doing for the people you're seeing here to emerge. So I want you to know that God is with us. And God is fine-tuning the engine. It's a process. So as we are recounting this, we're not recounting in vain. We've looked at all that has happened. We are teasing out all the loopholes. We are crossing the T's and dotting the I's. We are trying to make sure that we are in the right spirit of truth, connecting to that spiritual power of the Almighty, who alone is going to give us Biafra for his own glory and for the blessings of not just Biafrans, but the whole humanity. Because of what Biafra represents to the world, we had to go through all this torture, all this problem, all this crisis. Because all the evils of this world wanted to stop Biafra because of what Biafra represents. But God has destined us to come. God has mandated us to come. And we are here, trusting God that we're going to do the needful. We're asking Biafrans to be on the lookout because we are coming out with a clear plan, a clear pathway that will make every Biafran a stakeholder to Biafra. Because until you feel you're a stakeholder, you will never know you have a nation. We're going to build a nation that every nation will be proud of. And trust me, the days for building that nation has just started. I thank you.
Thank you so much. The days for rebuilding that nation has just started, and we're going to be unleashing this very soon. Biafrans will have the details. Fact News, you have something to say along this line? Just your closing remark.
Thank you. It has happened. Somebody here used to say, "Commander's money." This is our money because we have seen that the fire which we were following has failed. So we are taking over from where he left it. And we asked him to honorably resign and step away. Step away. The way you asked the DOS to step away, we asked you to step away because the life of our leader is at risk. You cannot continue to issue a false alarm when you cannot deliver. You can't do anything. There is no plan in place, nothing. I want his followers to ask him, have you released the man that was arrested in Lagos? 3 days is gone. This is 1 month. Stop deceiving our people. Stop taking their money. Allow the gallant men to do their job. Step aside. Because if anything happened to MNK, we will hold you responsible. Thank you.
And the entire Nigeria.
It's like Kelechi is out. Oh, thank God he's back.
He's back, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why this thing is, Emmanuel Ekuma said, then who would do this job? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, please. Please, Pastor Emeka, I want you to answer that question and then round up.
I wanted to pick that, that was
okay.
It's an interest to me.
Okay, go ahead.
Say something about it. Okay,
I'm not in the mind of Pastor Emeka, but I'm gonna speak my own mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm speaking for myself.
Yes. All right, please.
Now, the Ekuma man,
Emeka.
Listen, yes, Emeka Ekuma. That's a good question you asked.
Yeah.
You understand? But if you want to ask question, ask reasonably. Don't make it sarcastic. Don't make it like antagonistic question that somebody feels offended when you ask questions. That's a good one. Who will take this after our leader and all that? Okay. Now, the way it is, none of all these people gallivanting around can fit into the shoes of our leader in the first place. If you ask me, who's going to take the leadership position? Who's going to lead from the front? You see those people they call commanders on ground. They are the real leaders of this fight. They will be guided. The leader have, when you say PA, this assistant to the governor, or to the president or that, that's what they need. We guide them how to speak to the world, how to carry on, and then they move forward. They lead the battle. We tell them, at this point, say this, at this point, say that's what IPOB lacked. And this guy, again, is a maximum leader, absolute leader. Everything is the center of gravity. Everything revolves around him. That is why we don't need Simon Ekpa to lead us. Those people you call commanders, that you don't even know them. Thank you.
Yeah, please, right. Somebody has written something that is very critical here, and it's important we read it, if you don't mind. He says, anytime Simon raises alarm and gives ultimatum, just know that he is informing Nigerian government and Zoo Army ahead of time to come and kill our gallant men. And it looks this is a fact, because I think I said it earlier, but in a different way. When I said that when this guy is putting out these threats, he's putting our men in danger, because Nigeria now thinks we have something and they'll come and kill our people. But look at this is an actual fact. This guy, is it Kanu View Media, had just Biafrans need to understand this. This is a fact.
Sure.
Simon has committed treason. He has committed treason by assuming
in many ways and forms.
Not only him.
In many ways and forms.
Listen, not only him. Ngosho Rabuese, Victor Adim, all the members of the autopilot media, they have committed treason. Azuka has committed treason against the Biafran nation because they saw the truth and spoke against it, established falsehood, and then refused to stand and declare what is right. They are all accomplices to this wickedness. Yeah. Those people who wanted their faces to appear in our currency, they have committed treason against this nation. That's a fact, and they cannot run away from it. So let me just conclude because of time. You see, Nnamdi, from what you said, I pick one thing or two. You cannot be the prime minister of a nation and the headquarters is another continent. It's a mockery. Number two, you don't have a base in your local community to give you the grounds by which you can say, I am the prime minister of this government which are formed in exile. That's number two. Then number three, IPOB does not have any lawyer to represent Onyemdu, IPOB autopilot. The one they have is the one which has been there before. And by his operation, a person like Bruce Friend has been removed. So whichever one that is existing now is still being sustained either by DOS or those people are doing that job all by themselves, hoping that somehow when Biafra comes, they'll be compensated. So Simon Ekpa, for all the money that has been raised, IPOB autopilot does not have a lawyer for Nnamdi Kanu today. Then, for you to establish a secretariat for Biafra Republic government in exile, it does not have an address. That is fake. Now, coming to what Prince said, you know, when people are misled into thinking that there is something on ground when there is nothing, it puts their life in danger because their enemies assume that they have something on ground and they come and kill them. And number two, for what Prince said, if I can remember in my mind, Simon's misdemeanors and iniquity will fall out rather into the furtherance of the Biafran struggle to come into limelight. The need for it. How important it is. His iniquity. Because somewhere in the Bible, it is written, all things work together for good to them that love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. And if Buhari hadn't come up, Biafra agitation wouldn't have taken this dimension. If it were under Jonathan, nothing would have happened because Jonathan will not fight Onyendu. And some Igbos will speak against Onyendu, that Jonathan is an Igbo man, south. But Buhari hates the Igbos very well. And that is a good reason why the Biafran struggle prospered under Buhari, because of his hatred. Nnamdi Kanu said it. So the wickedness of Simon Ekpa is now furthering the Biafran cause to come into fore, that there is need for us to take the bull by the horns. Then in respect to CIT, one thing is very, very certain. If we put down structures and proper institutions, put an idiot in the office, he will function very well, because those structures and institutions compel him to be accountable. That's number one. And number two, even if an idiot is there and he has reasonable people that surround him and give him cancer, things will go fine. So one thing we're focusing now is structures and what they call institutions, and that is what we're trying to build. If you look at the caliber of people talking here, I just remember Nnamdi just responded to somebody who asked a question. The way that question came was sarcastic, and that is reminiscent with Biafran people. It may not be as a result of the fact that they intended to insult you, but it's because of their limited knowledge on how to approach issues based on education, and you don't blame them. Because ordinarily it would have been, please, I appreciate what people have said. Can you help us, give us a way forward? What do we do so it didn't happen? But if you just ask a question directly, it sounds sarcastic. So we need to do a national reorientation of the minds of Biafrans. We have orientation for children and a reorientation. All of us need to go back again to have this our heads re-examined, including myself and all of us. And then finally, Biafrans, Simon cannot deliver. We followed him in the beginning and we're willing to stand by him and help him out. But he knocked off everybody. He knocked off everybody to stay. And at staying, he surrounded himself with sycophants. He surrounded himself with yes members. He surrounded himself with those that betrayed Biafra. And they're all saying yes. So it is evident. Listen, get how to deal with it. That's the way Americans say, deal with it. deal with it, Simon Ekpa can no longer deliver. The more he stays, the more he complicates things and bring problems to the Biafran struggle. His comments can even lead to the death of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because as of now, Simon Ekpa's comment, Nigerian government have known that he has nothing to offer. Out of that provocation, they might go and bomb anywhere in Biafra land because of he says there's going to be repercussion. We don't have not even a single AK-47. Forget all the noise they are making. If there is one, we've not seen them engage anybody. I wonder if those AK-47 are new ones or they are ones that are being used. And even if they have those AK-47, they are not using them effectively to engage Nigerian soldiers. And if you want to engage Nigerian soldiers, you want to get weapons, you don't have to tell them. So Simon has nothing to offer. He runs his mouth to the detriment of the Biafran struggle and the Biafran project. Biafrans, there is a way out. We are going to offer it. We have men that think. We have a think tank. We have people that have understanding of the situation, trying to build structures, set institutions that are accountable, that will give us a blueprint which we will follow strongly to see that Biafra is realized and achieved. We have Nnamdi. He's a veteran, well-versed and well-trained in military warfare. Simon does not have one single military man, even in his group. And ESN is in disarray because there's no instructor, no controller. Because Azuka has turned so many of them into a private organization. And they're using the money to dance on the internet with the husband as he's rubbing her breast while Nnamdi Kanu is languishing in detention. So Simon Ekpa's time is out, is over. I tried to talk to him at the early stage that, listen, Simon, you made a mistake. Everybody made mistakes. If you can come back, I even told you, don't capitalize on it now and say we are quarreling. Everybody make mistakes. We can come back as a family and work things out. But I've realized that Simon has gone beyond the level of redemption. He's now trying to bring out his own. He's bringing out his own to take over. And Simon's plan to take over means, effectively, he wants to neutralize Onyendu and take over the Biafran project. That's not going to happen. Not on this watch, which I'm part of.
Not in this life.
Not in this life. It's not going to happen. It's not born. So Biafrans, this is the last thing I tell you. Simon is but a noise. His time appointed has passed. We have a better option. God bless you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you all. It seems Kelechi.
Yeah, you have to make a final remark on behalf of Kelechi, and then we close. I know he's out, and I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, I think he's having a network problem. Pastor, before he comes and then we round up. So it means that all the order Simon is giving, there is nothing to show for it.
Nothing.
Our people cannot ask questions. So I ask our people, do you really love MNK?
Please,
that's a good question.
I love that, but let me give you information there. All the orders Simon is given, we have come to realize is actually a signal to
the Nigerian government
to come and kill Biafra.
Our people. That's right.
It's important we understand that, and we can't miss that point.
Exactly.
Yes, please.
We should note it. Every order, like Simon has given the Nigerian government ultimatum, if by 17 you have not done anything, there's going to be a reprisal attack. That means he's telling them, come and kill these people.
Come and kill these people. And let's watch what happens in this month.
We are not going to watch Simon to destroy the life of our leader. We are coming up. And
we will not allow that. It's a guarantee. Because we already know his game plan.
We've already said it.
Onyendu being in incarceration for 2 years now is courtesy of Simon's carelessness and wicked plan to see that he succeeds this man and takes over the Biafran project. That's why I wanted to effectively put his face in a currency. Once he does that, he implants himself into the hearts of Biafrans forever.
And he needs to know that Biafrans are holding him responsible.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest of Nigerian government, if anything should happen, anything untoward should happen to Nnamdi Kanu.
Yeah, because
he's been held responsible as well as the Nigerian authorities.
That one is a different thing.
All of them, yes. So,
I don't want to talk about Nigerians. Let's see, looks as if I'm threatening them. In house.
So far,
yeah,
there's a massive military buildup and eastern part of the Niger, that is Biafra side. It is like more or less, no, not less, more
of a war-torn zone.
And Simon is still talking of RPG and GMG.
Because of the recklessness of their
RPG
speech.
and GMG.
Because of the recklessness of their speech.
Yes.
And then, yes, the zoo gear up readiness, in preparedness for that. And for that, they molest our people. You know, the Janjaweed, their military is unprofessional. Their government is unprofessional. Lawlessness. You know, their track, you know, way. So they go there killing people, rubbishing. There's no government, police, no police. They're just armed robbers, wearing government whatever, and attaching government to them, molesting our people, killing. Everything is messed up, big time messed up. Nothing. So because of this recklessness of this, I don't know. I have to call them.
Let me help you, sir. Do you know that Simon commander have men who goes to the community to demand for money before you can bury your loved ones? Simon has people he is commanding in Biafra land who he gave, who he refused to investigate their actions because there have been a lot of evidence that his men, the men for the Simon, are terrorizing our communities, collecting money from people who wants to bury their loved ones. And we are going to put a stop to that nonsense.
Thank you.
You dare not kill a military man. You dare not kill a policeman. They are all suffering the same thing we are suffering. We have a template to run.
And know it. Know it. Our leader never passed the mantle of leadership to Simon. He gave him a slot to be social media presenter. All of a sudden, Simon is today
Prime Minister.
He was never given any room.
He's just a broadcaster.
Okay, so,
he has no experience.
So thank you very much. I think we should be coming to the end of this thing. It is a fact. This is not personal. It is for Biafran cause. If you love Nnamdi Kanu, if you love Biafra, you love Nnamdi Kanu, you love Biafra, stay away from Simon Ekpa. He has nothing to offer. If you give money, you are giving at your own peril. Simon is working against you. His time is off. It's over. And Simon should step aside. We will make a day to make that declaration to the whole Biafrans officially that Simon is no longer a member of the governing body of the Biafran movement. He should step aside like IBB. Like 100%. Let him step aside honorably. Thank you so much, Biafrans. God bless you. We are going to end it from here. I'm so sorry I can't control it from here, but what you gentlemen are going to do is you just keep living until I leave finally.
Bye.
Thank you, Prince. Thank you, Soronade.
Thank you. God bless
you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank Kelechi for his wonderful thing he's doing. Kelechi is wonderful. God bless you, Kelechi. You're a man of wisdom, a man of knowledge. This is Emeka Livingstone signing out. Amen.